Hey, Indrajit, you're the first one. It's good to see you, man. How's it going? Louis-san, good to see you. How's it going? Hey, Phantom GB, awesome. 317, how's it going? I saw Yoda screaming and now I can't sleep. Trek Delta. What does that mean? I saw Yoda screaming and now I can't sleep. I thought it'd be cool just to hang out again. I'm just working on my games and I thought it'd be cool. Right now I'm applying some ground foliage and I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to have details like just mushrooms and bits and pieces to put around the place. I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to have those smaller details. There's a decision you have to make, especially when you have a stylized aesthetic like this that relies on minimal visual density and visual intricacy. And once you start putting in things like little mushrooms and things like that, there tends to start being an expectation of, well, I expect to see more at this point. So I'm trying to decide whether or not, because it, and then there's also the color balance as well, because of the style of Undertakers. All of the ground cover in the foliage avoids the color red, so that when there is blood or there's gore in the environment, that it is eye-catching and it stands out. So I need to avoid. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. Hey, Adonis, good to see you. Lucky, Sean, how's it? Hey, Zenobia, your avatar just makes me laugh. The yellow bird. Borghammer 40K, how's it going? Borghammer 40K. That's fantastic. Love your content and the mix of hard truth and positive vibes. Hey, I appreciate that. Thanks. I really want to make the channel a place where people can hang out and it's just a fun vibe. And I decided that I wanted that, you know, a few months ago because people kept telling me that they really just enjoyed the positivity of the channel, and I've been trying to figure out how to steer it in that direction. And I'm not a YouTuber, so I don't really understand how all of this works. So, you know, I'm trying my best. I'm trying to steer it away from people who want to be negative in the comments. I've been trying to steer away from that, and I'm still learning. I'm doing what I can. So yeah, I just want my videos to be fun. I want people to have a laugh, and maybe we can learn stuff about game development, or learn just random. You know, maybe we can learn how to pick a suit, how to modify a suit that doesn't fit you, so you can use it. You know, something like that. Today's a sad day for me. What happened? You have to delete your artwork from X. Oh, is it all right? Eleanor, good to see you. Only here for a few. Got to take care of your critters this morning. All right, take care. It's great to hear from you. Trackball drawing. Most handshaking art possible. Let me know if the music's ever too loud at any point. Just be yourself, I guess. Yeah. See, here's the thing, though. I'm weird. I know that I'm weird. I'm my sense of humor is really weird, and obviously a lot of people don't get it. But I like having a laugh, and that's good enough for me. I like the chill vibes while I work on games myself. That's awesome. It's the coolest thing in the world that you guys can work on your games, and then I can work on mine, and we can just sit here and chat and relax. So, I mean, we take that for granted, but if you try to explain that to someone 20 years ago, they would not believe you. YouTube's bothering me to put ads in here. Hey, Veronica, how's it good to see you? While saying welcome to the Weird Club. So, are you making a model? Oh, this is just a rock, like a boulder thing. It's not a coffin. I see what you mean, though. Yeah, there you go. I see it. Coffin. Nice one. I can show you in context. So right now I'm searching out for areas that are too sparse of detail, and then I'm populating it with ground cover so that the player is able to visually understand what they're looking at and where they should go. I'm working in Unity, and just creating the environment for my upcoming game. And there's a little bit of development challenge because I am putting this on Vita and sort of underpowered, weaker Android devices that have hardware control. So I need to take a number of things into consideration while I'm developing this. And it slows me down a little bit, but it's worth the effort because if it does slow me down with the work, but if I put in a little bit of extra work and planning, then I can put this onto the Vita pretty quickly because I've already done a bunch of extra work, and it will run great on Vita. So I'm pretty jazzed about that. Can you stop bothering me, YouTube, man? I cannot understand code, or else I'd be making games myself. You could make games without having to know programming. Things like Game Maker use a drag and drop method for your game logic. RPG Maker lets you use a drag and drop method, and I just saw something on sale on Steam. I'm going to bring that up. So we have Steam here. What was it? It's RPG Studio, is that what it's called? Is that right? That's right. Make sure this is muted. It's RPG Studio. I'm gonna buy this. I'm not gonna buy it right now because I don't know if my payment details will come up. But I'm gonna buy this today. It's on sale, 85% off. It's SRPG Studio. It lets you make like a Fire Emblem or a Final Fantasy Tactics style game. Honestly, I don't know that much about it, but it looks like you use a drag and drop method. It has all the tools there to create your maps and set up your characters, and you don't need to do any programming logic. You know, you see you enter your dialogue like this. You can use the graphics that are built in, or you can team up with a friend, and your friend can work on the graphics while you do the game. You can get another friend to do the music, but it comes with a bunch of assets built in just so you could make a game yourself. But I will be buying this later today, not on stream, because I don't know if my payment details will show up on screen. But I will be buying this today. So, I was waiting for this to go on sale, because it is a little... And this is Australian, so this would be closer to like $8, I think, US. So, pretty rad. This looks neat. And maybe I'll make a game with it. So. Unreal uses blueprints too. I have heard of that. I heard with Unreal it's important that you use the blueprints in conjunction. Like some things just work best with blueprints, and then other things you can use. What other language does it use? Does it have C? What else does it have? I haven't had the time to really learn much about Unreal. Hey, bipedal species, how's it going? Good to see you. But then you need friends. Well, see, you can meet people online. So when I was a kid, in the early 2000s, I was using Game Maker and RPG Maker, and there were forums, and I met a lot of people there, and we shared our passion and excitement for games. And you can form teams. You meet people that have different skills, and you can team up and you can work on projects together. And the vast majority of the time, you won't finish the projects because your teammates will flake out. That's just how it is. But you learn skills through that process. You learn how to work with people. You develop your own abilities for game development. So it's really about learning skills. And if you're lucky, if you're very lucky, you'll team up with people who won't flake out, and you'll all develop your skills to a point where you can actually, you know, even just do a small game, and you can launch a little game. And if you stick with it and you all work together, you could become a small studio where you're just making games. So, yeah. I followed you, son, because of you as a person. Everything is just amazing. I appreciate that, but I'm not special or anything. I'm kind of like a guy with a really weird sense of humor. And that's it. Sorry, I have a hard time keeping up with the chat. I'm working and I'm just sort of glancing over at the chat. Hey, John Bowling, good to see you. Question: is there any free assets you recommend on the Unity Game Store? Tons. There are tons of assets. It all depends on the game that you're working on. But if you're using any kind of terrain system in Unity, then I 100% recommend microsplats, and I'll show you what that looks like now. A Unity asset store. Asset store. So I'm going to look this up. Microsplat. This, I absolutely recommend this. I mean, even if you're not in need of a terrain renderer, a solution, grab it anyway, because you might find you'll absolutely use it. So it's free, but there's a bunch of add-ons that you can buy. I've purchased a bunch. They're all specialized, and they all have their own sort of performance costs and compatibility stuff, depending on the platform that you're launching on. But if you're bringing it to PC or Android, anything that you buy will be compatible. So Microsplat, basically this replaces Unity's built-in terrain renderer, and it is a faster rendering solution, and your terrains look significantly better. They look better, they run faster, you have way more control over how each piece of the terrain works. You can get little add-ons like footprints through the snow. You can combine it with something called Digger, where you can build, you know, like caves. You can carve caves, and you can have, you know, arches, and more advanced topography, things that are not built into the Unity engine, that are really fantastic. You know, so there's my recommendation. That's an asset on the Unity asset store. 100% recommend is Microsplat. Hey, Baronico, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I'll do my best to just... I really just want to give people a channel where we can hang out and have fun and relax. Bipedal species. I like the blueprints that Unreal Engine uses. It's just remembering it and then looking up the changes, see what has changed for your version. Yeah, the problem with Unity is often when they update Unity, they break a bunch of features. And it's so nerve-wracking when you have to update Unity. You don't have a choice. And you're thinking, what in my project is going to break it? How much time is it going to take to fix it? And you just have to learn to keep calm and accept that things are going to break when they update Unity. You just stay calm, and if you're going to scream, just scream silently on the inside. I'm working with Unreal. Blueprints are faster to the SE engine in action anytime. So far, Blueprints has been enough to do everything. Hey, that's great. I used to not like, say, for example, Unity's animator system. I'll show you here. I refused to use it. I didn't like it at all because I didn't understand it. All of these things take time. Like, you don't just say, I'm going to learn game development, and then suddenly you're developing games and you know everything. You learn bit by bit. It takes time. Everything has its own specialized needs when it comes to learning. And so I didn't use the animator system for a long time, but eventually I started using it, and it's fantastic. I used to code everything by hand in programming logic, and that was stupid. I was very stupid and stubborn back then. What are your thoughts about the new Snow White? I haven't seen it. I have no intention to see it. It's not something that interests me, and I know a lot of people are dunking on it. I don't really have an interest in watching it or joining in on that. I don't have a reason to go see it because I don't really care about Snow White. But I care about things like MCU movies and that. And I wouldn't say I care. I enjoy the MCU movies, and sometimes they're very disappointing. And at that point, look, it's fine. Let's go ahead and make fun of it if it's not the way that it's supposed to be. But in general, I'm pretty positive about movies. I just want to enjoy them. I don't expect movies to be this super artistic, expression of creativity. For the most part, if I see a movie, I just want to have some fun for an hour and a half. If it's an Avengers movie, I just want to see people do a backflip, snap a guy's neck, and save the day. That's all I want out of a Marvel movie. Malomoto. The problem I have with coding is remembering syntax and making sure I type everything right. Blueprints make it easy. I can tell what. Yeah, that's great. That's a great part of any sort of visual coding solution. It makes it easy to learn to jump right in. The problem with coding is that you have to learn a ton. You have to remember so much, and it can slow down the learning process. Okay, so I need to think of areas that need addressing right now. Look, I'll just okay, I'll do this area with ground cover. I'll do this little bit here. So let's go ahead and grab some ground cover. I've added these little saplings here. The last time I did a stream, I hadn't done these saplings, but I can drop those in a little bit. And then for anyone that hasn't sort of hung out and watched these sort of things before, what I'm doing is applying visual design philosophy I call breaking the line, where between visual elements there is a hard border. So say, for example, there is a line between the trees and the ground, and having that harsh border between visual elements is quite inorganic and it's somewhat unpleasant to look at. So what I'm doing is using grass to break up the visual line, and it makes it visually pleasing. It's interesting to look at. So I'm just going to draw some grass in here. You may notice I'm drawing at a very low resolution for the detail map. That negatively affects quite a number of things. The reason why I'm doing that is because I'm going to put this game on the Vita. I already have it running on the Vita. I have it optimized. And you see my detail resolution here is 512. If I raise that any higher, I could make the grass painting and the flowers painting, I could make it far more accurate, but then it's gonna not run well on the Vita, and it's gonna take up significantly more memory. So there we go. What I'm probably going to do is I port it to the Vita, and then after that I port it to newer platforms. And when I do that, I'm just going to you have to use an add-on to increase the detail resolution, because if you change it here, Unity will erase all of your details. But I will increase the resolution so that it won't have such a hard time rendering all the grass in one area. Unity can only render a limit. Sorry, I gotta try and catch up with the chat here. Hey, I wanted to ask, do you have free time to play games? I just want to which games you're playing. I don't have a lot of free time to play games, so mostly the games that I play, like for example on the channel a couple times I've shared retro devices, and the reason why I really like those, is because like I'm not saying piracy is great, but it's a part of the games industry that we have these retro handhelds, and they happen to come with a ton of ROMs, but they're games that you can't buy these days anyway, you know. So my position on that is, hey, come on, just be cool about it. It's fun, but I really like the retro devices because they come with thousands of arcade games, and I need to take short breaks from work, obviously. So if I'll take a 10-minute break and I'll just use one of my retro handheld devices, and then I'll play a random arcade game that I've never heard of before. It's just a good way to just take a break and rest your brain for a few minutes. I am trying to play Tales of, and this is really bad, this is very telling. I can't remember which Tales game I'm playing on the Switch. It was on sale in December. I bought it because I really like the Tales games, but I don't have time for RPGs, and now I have to look it up. I feel ridiculous. Because I don't know which Tales game I bought. And once in a while I can play like half an hour of it, and that's cool, but it's a slow way to play an RPG, I'll tell you that. Tales of... I feel ridiculous that I don't know which one I'm playing. Vesperia. I'm playing Tales of Vesperia on the Switch. And it's cool. I really like the Tales games. I like RPGs. So I am playing that, but very slowly. Like maybe once every few weeks I can play half an hour. You'll hit points when you're working, especially if you're a solo developer, if you're running your own business, you're going to hit points where you're really burned out. And I wait for those points where I just need a few hours, and then I can play a more involved game for a while. So, yeah. What would be the next step after landscaping in your workflow? I'm just a modeler. So if you mean sort of detailing the environment, generally what I do ahead of time is I'll leave these tags here so I know where I'm supposed to put certain things. So I know that there's going to be a pit here with a dead child, you know, dead big tree, pond. So after I do the environmental design, what all throughout I do traversal tests. I check how the character traverses, and I do adjustments based on testing with traversal and just visually looking at it and seeing what the player is going to see, where the camera is going to be placed, and I look for spots that look too sparse or they're too cluttered, they're not visually clear. I make adjustments, and then once I'm done with all that, I'll do my item placement and my enemy placement. And if you weren't here in previous streams, I'll show you how the enemy um, spawning system works here. So there we go. Just breaking my visual lines. So what sort of David hit? Oh, John. Thank you for recommendation. Mountains and lakes are where I'm having the hardest part in getting them to look right in Unity. Water systems are so tough. Here's the absolute worst part about water in Unity. I don't know about the newer versions, but any version that I use actively does not have a good water system built in. It seems absurd. I've purchased maybe 6 different water solutions. No, more than that. I've purchased way more than that. And I'll implement it in a game, and I'll think, yeah, this looks great, this is decent. And then I'll start bringing my game to different platforms. I'll put it on Switch, and I'll realize, uh-oh, the water solution that I purchased for $150 doesn't work. Now I have to find another one. Now I just have to buy more and more water solutions until I find one that works on Switch. I get a game developed, I get it finished, I try to submit the game, and then it turns out that Unity is forcing me to update my version in the middle of my submission process, and I don't have a choice. So then I update Unity, it breaks my water solution. Oh, well, there goes another $200 on my water solution. So you see, it's very... There's so many aspects of development that are really frustrating when they shouldn't be. They're not supposed to be frustrating. And I think it's important to discuss these in a clear and concise way because we have to fix these issues. This can't be allowed to happen, you know? Hey, 317, you're back. Okay. Malamoto, I like the Tales of Symphonia, but I couldn't do the guitar playing part because they reversed the strumming and fretting hands. Oh, yikes. Oh, on the controller? Really? Wow. Simple water shaders on a plain mesh should work well for most cases. It really depends on your game. Like, what are you doing with your game? What sort of game is it? What perspective? You know, how much interaction do you need with the water? Something like this, you don't need advanced water shaders. You don't need a special solution. You just need a shader that makes it look, you know, that it has ripples and waves and whatnot. I can show you a project later on. I can open that up and show you a more advanced water solution. But I'm just keeping my teeth clenched because I just have this weird feeling that while I'm submitting it, Unity's going to say, oh yeah, would you mind just updating your project in the middle of submission? And then break everything in. So I'm just super not looking forward to that. But you just have to deal with it. You know, there's a lot to game development beyond just making a game, and you have to just manage it. You just have to become accustomed to dealing with all the different challenges and requirements. It's all part of the job, really. So that's it. Gaia is a great terrain tool. I think I have World Builder, World Maker. I forgot what it's called. I do use that one as well. I'm not sure if I have Gaia. I think I might have. You can get a free version for non-commercial use. It's a separate tool, and you have to export to Unity. Oh no, I didn't get Gaia because I bought World Machine. Is that what it's called? Orange, hey, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. I love your takes on games and life in general. Have you ever thought about VR or thought about how you would design an interesting VR gameplay loop? I love the VR, the opportunities that VR affords us as players. There's just so much to do. I have started making games in VR, but the problem is that I'm trying to do too much. Like, the games that I want to make are trying to do too much. And the hardware with VR that I've tried, that I had available to me to develop on, was not very good. And so the games just weren't performing well. And you need to create your games a very specific way. Their technical requirements are very different from standard games, because you're basically rendering the game twice. And I'm accustomed to developing in stereo environments because I developed for the 3DS. But I need to have a good setup for VR, and I don't have one. So I have tried to make games. And here's the problem. All the games that I want to make in VR are stuff that you're meant to sort of play it for long periods. Like I want to make sort of RPG type experiences where there's a lot of leveling up and finding treasure and doing this and that. And I haven't had enough experience working in VR. And an experience like that is so different from a standard setup where you're disconnected from the screen and you're sitting back. You're stuck to the screen, you're attached to it, and you need to consider things differently. So I haven't shipped any title in VR. I have tried, but I just don't have the experience to effectively make a VR game well. So at some point in the future, I would like to spend time doing that. Just at the moment, I haven't. Just looking. Let me just make that. I like to make these groves more grassy the farther you go in because it helps it feel like there's less traffic on the inside. So I'll go ahead and grab my spawn point here, and then I'll just check the traversal in this area. We also need to make some NPC kids here, so I need to find my old character designs. Okay, so I'm going to grab this spawn point here, and I'll go ahead and put this guy here and here. Sorry, I'll try to catch up with the chat. It's a bit tough. I'm trying to split my focus between work and the chat. I like testing with this GameCube controller that's got USB cable. It's cool. I like it. Okay, so over here in the scene view, you can see what's going on here, and then here's the camera. So I'm just looking for anything that just doesn't look right, that looks sloppy, that the path the player should be walking isn't clear. Like I don't want the player to be able to walk in here like this. So what I'll do now, and someone asked this on the last stream because I was making edits during the game running, and normally Unity does not save while you are running the game. But the terrain is different. When you're making edits to the terrain, you're editing the splat maps, that are in the detail maps. And those are not part of the scene. So Unity won't undo those when you exit play mode. So, yeah, you can do that. I bought an HTC VR set about 8 years ago. I just used the Tobii Eye Tracker. Now, what is Tobii Eye Tracker? I'm going to look that up. Tracker is a device that can track both your head and eyes at the same time. Well, that's cool. Wow, that's cool. I like seeing all the technical advancements, and that's so fascinating. Hey, what's your favorite new manga? This is such a bummer because I haven't picked up any new manga recently. It's been a while since I've found a new manga. I can't think, because sometimes I'll pick one up and then I'll read it for a little while and then it won't really stick with me and then I'll forget about it. I can't remember the last new manga that I picked up. The last one that I can remember was years ago, and that was Terraformers. That's cool. That's so neat. Like I didn't really pick up My Hero Academia because I was watching the anime already, and then when the anime ended on a cliffhanger, the season 7 and season 8 isn't out yet, I had to know what happened next. So I was catching up on season 7 of My Hero. It went on a cliffhanger, and I could not just leave it. So I went, and I hadn't read the manga before, so I went online and found a place to read the manga, and I was up until 3 o'clock that night. catching up on... I had to see where the story went. So I don't want the player to be able to walk between those trees there. So where else? Again, I'm just looking for spots and then tightening up the traversal here. Okay. Just tuck that in there like that. Okay. Having this on Second Modern when I'm doing Unity project, awesome. Beat the backlog. That's cool. It's the coolest thing in the world that we can just sit and chat and hang out, and then we can all, I mean, not all of us are working on games, but you know, a number of us can work on our games and hang out and chat. Okay. See, you shouldn't be able, but here's the thing, right? I could leave it like that and just stick an item. You know what? Where am I? You guys don't tell anyone. I'm gonna stick an item in here. Don't tell anyone. It's gonna be our secret. Only between you guys and me. I'm gonna put something in there. Only you guys will know. Don't tell. Okay. Obviously your major reward is gonna be in here, right? The item that you get. I don't want the player to be able to walk behind there, so let's go ahead and just fix that up real quick. 1 and 2. Don't you guys tell anyone this item is in here. Alright. Let's put an upgrade. Should it be ammo? Let's put ammo in there. Something good, like shotgun ammo or something, huh? It's a shotgun. Okay, here we go. What's that for a shotgun? Is the music too loud or too quiet? Let me know. Shotgun ammo. Okay, event. Pick up. Okay, so I have those all in events. Kind of might want to do this actually. Here we go. Just it'll make it easier for me to manage. Item. Good. I'll have to come back and manage this and make sure I do that all correctly. So we're going to put shotgun ammo in there, but don't tell anyone. If you tell anyone this is in here, I will never trust you with anything ever again. Okay, and in there, you know what? Let's put a shotgun upgrade in there. What do we got here? Handgun. These are all handgun stuff, right? Okay, so handgun. What item? Handgun. Let's make our shotgun stronger. This will permanently level up our shotgun. Okay, this will permanently level up our shotgun. Alright. Now let's go ahead and put some enemies in there as well. So I've got my enemy generators here. If you haven't been in, I've done 2 streams before where I shared how this system works. So I'll explain it again for anyone that hasn't seen it. Basically, there's 3 components here. We have the center point. It's not that important. The center point isn't important. You have the distant point. So this enemy spawn point will check if the player is within range. If the player is closer to the center point than the distant point, then every 2 seconds it will attempt to spawn an enemy. If it successfully spawns an enemy, it has to wait 30 seconds before it can spawn another enemy. And then spawn count per step is the number of enemies that spawn every time it tries to check that the player is nearby. You also have enemy reserves to spawn. This one is set to 4, so after it spawns 4 enemies, it can't spawn anymore. But you can have it reset. So after 320 seconds, it'll reset the reserve. So in case the player wants to come back and do some grinding for experience points or items or anything like that, and then the spawn point is where the enemy actually spawns from. So let's go ahead and just me just stick this here. Just put it in there like that. Okay. I need to make sure I give myself some weapons so I can fight back at least a little. Okay, distant point here. Make sure that's within range. And then we'll put the spawn point in there. Okay. This one we'll put distant like that. And the spawn point. Let's go ahead and stick it over here. Okay, just over there. So it feels like the enemy is kind of coming from somewhere else. So you're gonna have to get through there. And this one's gonna be easy to get through. I think there's not that many enemies in here. Oh, your secret is safe with us. I'm gonna tell my dog. You can tell the dog. It's okay to tell dog. So let me just put myself. I need to get some items now. So I'm gonna go back to my cabin where I have my items sitting. Here, some shotgun. What? I don't know what weapon that is. I'm just gonna grab them and clone them, and then give myself some weapons here. Okay, and let's test it. Oh, it'll be cool if this was a dark zone. I'll show you how that works in just a second, but first we'll run it, and then I'll turn this into a dark zone. Any plans to seek a Master Sword somewhere? I love Easter eggs, right? They're the coolest things, but I don't reference other games or other media or series and stuff in my stuff. I think it's more fun if I just focus on the lore that I create for my games, you know? Okay, so I have a torch, which is pretty cool. I think an enemy just spawned. Yeah, there we go. So you can see it's pretty weak because I haven't leveled it up. I need to give myself more ammo. I'm not going to survive this. So your weapons start out very, very weak in this game because there's a lot of growth in this game. There's going to be a lot of leveling up that you can do, and you're rewarded for exploring and whatnot. So obviously your weapons have to start out pretty weak. I'm just going to give myself more ammo. And I'm still in the balancing stage as well, like how much the stats increase with each level up. The overall damage output for enemies, how much health they have, you know, all that stuff. I'm going to give myself 800 ammunition here because I can do whatever I want. Okay. And these enemies right now, they just feel like they have a little bit too much health. And I think I did that because I was testing maximum damage output when it comes to weapon growth. I think that I just gave them a ton of health. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wind that down now because I don't need them to have that much health. There's going to be other enemies, of course, that will have more health. So let's go ahead and wind that back down to 60 because that took a massive amount of ammo. Hey, Sungren, you should read the manga known as Gai Chia. I'm going to type that in. I don't know what that is. Is it safe for work? I'm not going to risk it. Got Chiakuta manga. So I can't I have a very tight work schedule. So, oh, this looks cool. Oh, look at the artwork on this. This is cool. I've never heard of this. I don't get to read manga right now because of the projects I'm working on. I'm the biggest Super Sentai fan. I absolutely love Super Sentai. My favorite is Kaizoku Sentai. Oh man, my brain is it's almost midnight. I'm drawing a blank. The pirate. Oh, you know, Kaizoku Sentai. Oh no, it's too late at night. I've had a long workday. Can someone fill in the blank for me? Akihabara Ranger? Yes! Yes! My brain wanders back to Akihabara. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's a parody of Super Sentai that somehow evolves into an almost official version of Super Sentai. I love the theme song. I love the characters. I love that in the second season they just swapped out one of the actors, which they never do. Um, and unironically, this is one of my favorite Super Sentai series. Yeah, this is so hilarious. Their powers come. They're in Super Sentai. A team's powers are always well defined. We always understand where the powers come from. These characters' powers come from delusion. They use the power of delusion to transform to henshin. I just love that concept. This is so great. I really like Resha Sente Tokuja. That story is so creepy in the beginning. Like there's so many unsettling implications at the beginning of the story of Resha Sentai Tokuja. Um, they kind of make it seem like maybe these kids that the Sentai that they have used to be kids, but then the kids died, and then their souls got absorbed by the darkness, and then they rescued these kids' souls and put them in adult bodies so that they could fight. There was a little bit of there's a big implication of that throughout the beginning of the story. It was so creepy and unsettling, and it's so interesting. Best parody. It is the best parody ever. I cannot think of a better parody. I've read a decent amount of Guy Chiakuta. It's really good. Yeah, nice. Um, I'm a huge Power Rangers fan. I think if you like Power Rangers, you're going to like um, Super Sentai, but it's going to be very weird because you are going to recognize footage, and the stories are going to be different, and it's so interesting. But it's cool. It's fun. It's just another way to enjoy it. So you see, one of the issues I'm having with the shotgun, I'm going to have to do some reanimating work and whatnot, is when I stay locked to a direction, but when I'm walking different directions, the character faces a different way. So in this battle system, you hold the L button, and then you can stay locked to a direction. And that way you could have free movement. You see your weapon's frame data does not affect your mobility. So your mobility is independent of anything else. Even your hit stun does not affect your mobility. I just want the game to feel fluid because there are moments where you could get swamped by enemies like crazy. And so it's really up to you to control your character with the best mobility that you can handle. There we go. Hey, where was the secret? Is it here? Yes. Shotgun. Don't you guys tell anyone that's there. I'm going to make it worth it. I'm going to have way more shotgun ammo in there. Oh, this will permanently level up my shotgun. Thank you. Oh, that's the handgun. I need to change that so it's for the shotgun. Okay. See, you can retreat from enemies while you're shooting. And obviously you want to watch your ammo, so you explore as much as you can, try and save up ammo. And there's throwing weapons, there's going to be traps and everything. So it'll be fun. It'll be a dynamic battle system with you sort of find solutions your own way. Greetings from Croatia. Hi, hello, good to see you. I have a friend his friend was from Croatia. So, what time is it there? It's almost midnight here. It's 11:57. Sega 2 on Nintendo. Um, So Red Ranger has main character syndrome. In Akihabara Ranger, the red who ends up becoming the Red Ranger is he wishes he could, he's obsessed with Super Sentai. He loves Super Sentai. Uh, and in his world, Super Sentai is a form of media. It's a TV show. So for Akihabara Ranger, it's like they exist in our world, and they know that, the Super Sentai aren't real. But then his long-term, or his goal, is to become a canonical version of Super Sentai. He knows that his version of Super Sentai is unofficial, and, and he wants to become official. I just love that story. Hey, BXL, I really appreciate that. Hey man, love your content. I wanted to ask for aspiring game Designers, do you have any advice on the best way to self-teach? Hope you're doing well. The best way to self-teach is to find games that you really enjoy, that are your favorite games, that you personally feel a connection to, and try to reverse engineer them so that you pick out aspects of your favorite games and try to recreate that. Try and figure out how to use whatever game engine you have access to, whatever's within your ability. Try to recreate the things that you see in the games that you like, and by doing that, you can teach yourself very quickly. You can figure out, oh, okay, so this is how they do menus. This is how they do turn-based battle systems. That's the fastest and best way to self-teach. If you have a personal connection to something, your mind will latch onto it and learn it better. You will understand it better. So it's about finding something that you really care about. One of the reasons why many traditional teaching methods don't work is that teachers use a generalized teaching method and they try to apply that to everyone the exact same way. But everyone cares about different things in different ways, and so not everyone will benefit from the exact same teaching and learning method. So if you are self-teaching, for example, for me, my favorite genre would be JRPG. And so when I first started out, I tried to figure out, how do they do this in Final Fantasy or Breath of Fire? How can I do that? I grew up absolutely loving survival horror games. So when I was self-teaching and learning, I would try to figure out, how did they make this work in Silent Hill or Resident Evil? How did they make it so you can pick up items? How did they make it so the character can go through doors? That's the best advice I can offer for self-teaching, is pick the games that you like the best and try to recreate, try to reverse engineer what you see and what you like about those. My little brother adores Super Sentai. Absolutely. Wait, hey, Mahogany, good to see you. Yeah, I totally get it. It's 4 p.m. here. Oh, nice, middle of the day. Have you seen The Hero Yoshihiko? No, I haven't. I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna do that off screen in case it's not safe for work here. I have. Oh, is this like the Dragon Quest? I think I've seen a little bit. Oh no, is this related to Dragon Quest? Or I think I saw a video clip and maybe they were just making it seem like it was related to Dragon Quest. I haven't heard of this. This looks cool. I haven't heard of this. Yoshihiko was chosen by the village people. The village people. My headcanon went. You guys know where my headcanon went to. So what happens is these guys, the village people, these are the village people. So the village people, these guys, they choose someone to search for a cure. Yoshihiko, the village people, these guys chose Yoshihiko to search for a cure for their village. And he takes the opportunity to search for his missing father. So there we go, that's the story. This looks fun, this looks cool. Ooh, 3 seasons, nice. I like that, I like 3 seasons. It's like Dragon Quest meets Monty Python. That sounds fantastic. I'm setting this aside, I'm going to look that up later. I'm absolutely going to check that out. I'm done looking at the village people. Back, hey, good to see you. YMCA. Yoshihiko costume is based on one of the Dragon Quest MCs. That's awesome. It's a large JRPG spoof. I'm sold. I'm already sold. I'm absolutely going to check that out. That sounds great. For 2D games, would you say Unity is better than Unreal Engine? I have not personally used Unreal, but based on my understanding and what other people have said, I believe Unity is better for 2D. Unreal is better for 3D, really. I'm sure there are solutions for Unreal that will allow you to do 2D games, but Unreal is very heavy. If you want to bring it to other platforms, Unreal is just a heavy game engine, and 2D games do not require the amount of power that Unreal has for 3D, so it's just not as beneficial to use Unreal for 2D games. I'm gonna look for a track that's more chill. This is one of my favorite tracks that I've done. I'll turn it up just a little bit. I did this for White Inside Its Umbra on the Wii U, and it. I always wanted to do a track like this because I grew up playing survival horror games, and so this was the first time I did a track like this. And I was honestly looking for an excuse to do one like this. I was so happy to make it. Arc System games are like magicians. Oh, absolutely. Oh, their artwork is just so fantastic. Their games look fantastic. I want to study Unity scripting. Go for it. You know, you learn a little bit at a time. But it's what I work fastest in. At this point, visual coding solutions are great for learning. They're excellent for learning, but they have poor scalability. They're not good at scaling. So when your game gets bigger, when your logic increases, then visual coding solutions don't work as well. But I work fastest in coding in C# because I have been learning for years. You have to keep pushing yourself to learn and improve. Love the music. Yeah, thanks. Obviously, I'm a massive horror game fan, and I love when games sound like this. Let's move on to the next thing. Oh, hold on, I need to fix this. So I'll turn the music down so that we can chat some more. How did you learn to compose music again? Did you already tell that? I haven't. I don't really talk about that much. I studied music in high school. There were advanced music courses that I was able to get into because there weren't enough guys, and they wanted more guys in the music courses. So in high school I studied that, and then it was fascinating because I didn't have any musical training before that, and I was an idiot when it came to music. So they weren't entry level music. Like, these were the highest level of music education in high school. They were advanced courses, and they just needed to have guys in there, so they took anyone. And the teachers were brutal. They were rough. They were borderline hit your hands with rulers if you didn't do something correctly. And so I learned very quickly. But outside, because it was embarrassing for me, like, I was not good at music, and it was embarrassing for me to be in this high level course, and I felt, out of place. So I put in a lot of effort to self learn as well. When I went home, I was studying music. I was studying composing. I was trying to do as much as I could, so that I wouldn't be embarrassing when I went back to school. But after high school, well, it was even before I took those courses in high school, I was using MIDI programs to make MIDI music. And I was writing on a staff, and so I was self-teaching myself, but it was not good. The music that I made back then, I was a teenager. And obviously when you're new at something, you're not going to be good at it. So I was self-teaching myself. I was inspired by Nobu Uematsu and other composers that were doing music for games. And I thought, I want to make music like these composers. So for about the first 4 or 5 years, I was horrible. I was awful at composing music. I was just terrible. And I just kept working at it. And then I had very mean teachers who were very strict. And I was feeling humiliated and embarrassed, so I worked really hard to improve. And then just over the years, I just kept composing until I didn't suck anymore. And that's basically, I'm not naturally gifted when it comes to music. My talent for music is quite low. So I relied on brute force and effort in order to develop music ability, which you can do. Even if you're not particularly naturally talented, the difference between talent and skill is that you're born with talent. It's based on your genetics. It's a die roll. When your parents are setting up your character creator, it's on a randomizer when it comes to your talents. You don't know what talents you're going to have, which is why you should try to find them. Your skill is something that you develop. So your skill does not rely on your talent. Even if you have 0 talent, you can develop skill. So, yeah, a lot of my skills I gain through brute force because I don't have natural talent for those things. You stumbled onto a talent and developed a skill from a blind. Cakewalk Studio, yes, Baroneko knows what's up. That's the exact one that I used. Cakewalk Studio 2000 and 2003. Will this game be on Steam or Nintendo Switch? Can't wait to play it. Tyler, how's it going? This will be on Nintendo Switch, but there will be a sister game to this that is a similar art style, has a similar gameplay style. It's going to be called Sapphire Cove. Silver Falls is Nintendo exclusive, but people have been asking for years to bring my games to other platforms. So I'm creating Sapphire Cove as a sister series to Silver Falls. It won't have the same name as Silver Falls, but it'll have the same vibe. It can draw on the lore and the history of Silver Falls while not being a Silver Falls game. So, let me just show you. Okay, I said I was going to turn this into a dark area. I mean, I'm chatting it. I should be working more. Work more. So I have these things called dark zones. Basically, they cast a shadow, they block out the moon, they cast a shadow, and then it prompts the player character object to turn a flashlight on. So I need to create a round model. I don't have a round one set up, but I'll do that. I'll do that. Dark zone. Forced growth. I'll show you what it looks like here. So basically this works because it has a tag called Dark Zone. That's all the logic is controlled by the player. This doesn't have its own scripts. All of it works because it's tagged with Dark Zone and it has a box collider with the trigger on it. So if I zoom in and close enough for the shadows to activate, you'll see what that looks like. So I'm just going to go ahead and stretch that across. Yeah, that basically is it. Okay. And all of the logic for this, the player checks if he's touched that collider, and if he's touched the collider, he turns his flashlight on. And it gives certain environments a more dangerous feel. Logically, for me, it gives a signal to the player, hey, things are probably going to get a little dangerous right now because this is a dark area. Gotcha. So you worked hard instead. That's even more awesome. Unimportant writer. Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's things that all of us, we have our own unique talents, and that's why I love meeting new people and talking with people, and I especially love when people have incredible talents. You know, it just inspires me to work hard and to try to catch up as much as I can, you know. But I meet people that are just way more talented than me, and it's so inspiring, you know, to see people with these incredible skills. It makes me just want to try and see how good can I become at this particular thing. I went to a bluegrass festival in 2003, and I had my cello banjo, my mando cello, a couple other instruments, and I was the weakest musician at this bluegrass festival in California, and it was the coolest thing in the world. I knew that I was the worst one there. I knew I was the weakest musician. Everyone I met was just so welcoming, and they were so talented, and it was so inspiring to see all of these these people were talented and skilled, and we were all playing music. We were sitting around in different bluegrass circles until 3, 4 in the morning, and we're just jamming out tunes and jamming along and playing. I was so intimidated because I'd never been to a bluegrass festival before. Everyone was so much better than me, and I just left feeling so uplifted because everyone was so welcoming, and I thought, look, I have got to become a better musician because I want to be able to play music with these people. I want to hang out. I want to play great music. And so that's one of my inspirations, is sort of that memory of being in this bluegrass festival and seeing how everyone was so great. See, now that's kind of obvious, right? In this version right now, there's no shadows. That's because there's like a weird setup going on, but in the actual game, there'll be, the trees will be casting shadows right now. They're not. Okay, I need to change that. It said handgun level up, but that is the shotgun, logically. Now we know that, so if I open up my item menu, if you have a look at the shotgun there, you see the yellow. I need to adjust it so it's easier to read. It's more legible. But that yellow 1 indicates the level. So I know that the level up did work. The levels start at 0 here. Okay, that's cool. I need to fix that event now, so it says what that is properly. Let me go to some more chill vibes. Oh, you know, we'll do something creepy. I love games with deep lore, especially fantasy lore. Me too. Me too. Gamers Republic. I just want to dive right in and get lost in a game's lore. It's just, it's fun. The more there is, you know, here's the thing. I really like. Here's the cool thing about the internet is you can play a game, and a game's story and the way they tell it, they can make you ask questions and wonder, and then you can just go online and go on a, you know, whatever page they have, and you say like, hey, what is, you know, there's this species in this game, you know, and you have a question, you think, I just have to know what the implication is for this, and you go on the wiki, and there's tons of information, you can learn all about it. It's so cool. It's so fun to do that. Elden Ring Random, John Bowling. In your past videos, you have mentioned a budget for video games for a small studio. What is your best method to keep your budget small and not go over budget? How it works for small studios is, well, like independent developers, you're paying to keep the lights on, basically. For me, I'm paying to keep the lights on. Like, I don't pay myself a daily wage. I couldn't afford to pay myself a daily wage. So I'm working for myself, and that's just how it is for small independent developers. Basically, your budget is your time. How long can you last before you can't pay the bills anymore? That's just how it is for small developers where you're internally funded. I don't have an external funder paying me to keep developing. So basically, I launch smaller games. The smaller games bring money in. Sometimes I take side contracts and side jobs where I do boring stuff, boring jobs. You know, in the past I've done websites and forums and business things, and I don't want to keep doing that stuff, so it's boring. So I haven't been doing contract work because I have enough smaller games out where the small games can pay the bills to a certain extent, and then in between those, then I can launch the bigger games. And obviously the bigger games, you know, my smaller games are a couple dollars. The bigger games you can charge a little bit more because they're a more robust experience with more content, but they take longer to create. So that's basically how I manage it. Your budget is your time, really. Shotgun skills. Shotgun. Is that automatic? Is that automatically? Yeah, no, that's fine. Okay. I said I'm going to show you something. What was I going to show you? Hard workers like you are the real people that give us talented people hope. Look, I'm not that talented. My only real talent that I have, it's taken me years to understand this. The only real talent I have is understanding people, just listening to people and hearing them out. I've noticed it's a bummer because I wish I was talented at things, but I'm not. And the only thing I do well is listening to people and understanding. And I'm willing to accept, look, if that's my talent, then I'm going to use it as much as I can. Everything else I can brute force, but I want to show people if you want to do something, if it's something you enjoy, you can do it. You just have to you're going to have to put some effort in. And you might be terrible at something for a little while, but you can do it. You absolutely can do it if it's something you want to do. Yeah. Hold on. Some people are born lucky. He was lucky to be born. You know, my grandpa always told me, he taught me everything he knows, and I still know nothing. So we gotta make some NPCs here. I gotta get these children NPC auditionees set up. So I use a system called an actor auditionee system, and the auditionees, because the idea is an actor is basically a big concept. Anyone can be an actor. So the actor is the role. The logic of the role should stay with its own object. So the actor can change out its auditionee anytime. How I see it is an auditionee auditions for a role, and if they are accepted, they get to be the actor. But all of the logic is in the actor itself, which means that you don't have to have duplicate logic. Otherwise, all of your game objects have to have duplicate logic, and then when you want to change one, you have to go back and change it for all of them as well. So I've implemented a system where the actor is just an object that has all of the logic itself, and then the auditionee is just the graphics. And then that means that you don't have to have duplicate logic throughout uh, your game. So where are the kids here? I'm just gonna template. I'm gonna turn off the lighting system here. Okay. So we'll go. They look the same to me. Okay. So what we're going to do is clone that bold, but we're going to go kid NPC. There's actually a couple in here, so where? Okay, give me a second here. I'll try to catch up on the chat. So it's the wrong folder, isn't it? This is creepy music from Silver Falls Ruby River on the 3DS. If you happen to find the ROM of it, have fun. Hope you enjoy it. It works on all 3DS models. Kind of open up my sprite work here. Okay, so I need to create 3D versions of the kid. So in this game, Silver Falls Undertakers, kids get kidnapped. You need to go and rescue the kids. Okay? The graphics are really, really simple. They're not really fancy or distinct or anything. How many hours would it take one person to make Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? It depends on, does this person already have all the skills and experience they need, and now they just need to put in the time? A few years, maybe 10 years, 15 years on their own if they have all the skill and experience they need. I don't know, that game is huge. There's so much going on there. When did you start developing video games? I started using RPG Maker in the late 90s, and then in 2002 I started using Game Maker. And then I actually made and started selling a game in the summer of 2003. It was a monster racing game, and I was working on a component where you get to battle. You take your monster in battle, but I just didn't have the skill and the experience to complete it. But the monster racing aspect was totally functional. I was selling copies on CDs. I actually sold a bunch at school. It was called Monster Pickle. I did find that on a CD the other day. Maybe I should put it online. Do you guys want my first game that I ever made? It works. It's functional. You can play it. It's weird. It was the first game I ever actually made and sold, so I was a teenager at that point. But I'm obsessed with monster games and monster raising, and there's a bunch of different species. I think you started with 4 different eggs, and there were different species, and then based on how you raised them, they turned into different branch species. And then if you did certain things in the game, you can unlock more eggs, and then there were different unique species. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with monster raising games. We want to see it. Beat the backlog. I'm so interested in making games for older handhelds. Have you used GB Studio yet? GB Studio, you could make a fully functional Game Boy Color game right now, today. You don't even need experience using it because it's so well designed, it's so well made. You can use a drag and drop interface. When I say dragon, I mean the mythical creature. I'm not saying drag and drop. I'm saying drag and drop. This is so great. The developer keeps improving it and adding more features. It even has link cable functionality. Really brilliant. I made my game, Silver Falls Galaxy Bound Curse, using a very old version of this. So I need to remake my game using a new version so I can fix some issues. I was using an alpha version of GB Studio. But yeah, you guys, you don't need any programming experience because you can use drag and drop, and you can just you. I don't know if they've added like a system to make your own tile maps, but I use tiled. I use this. So you make your uh, chipset. You use tiled to create your environments, and then this tiled will poop out a little file, and then you take the file that it pooped out, and then you feed it into GB Studio, and then GB Studio goes num 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 yum yum yum. Here are your game graphics. It's so easy to make a game with this. So yeah, those are the things you need: tiled and GB Studio. Really fantastic. Make a Game Boy game right now. You can do it. You don't need programming experience. This is my game. A lot of people tell me that this is their favorite in the Silver Falls series, and it's not even one that you can buy. It's totally free. I'll put the link in the chat right now. This is like a Zelda. It's for the Game Boy Color. You can play it on real Game Boy hardware or an emulator. It is an action-adventure game. The story is about people hanging out in a small mountain town late at night. There's a guy who's had his first kid. His son was just born, so he and his buddies in this small mountain town are hanging out at a bar, having a couple drinks. Someone comes into the bar and says, "Hey, I was babysitting a kid, and he just got kidnapped. Can you guys help me find the kid?" And so now you're playing as a town full of drunks, trying to find a kid that was kidnapped, and you're wandering through the forest, and now monsters are popping out, and nobody's sober. And there's a bunch of different characters. You can have two in your party at the same time, and they're all different. You can recruit an animal and have a third party member, and your pet can help you fight. There's a bunch of different weapons that you can get. You can level those up. Your characters can level up. You can improve their equipment and their stats. This guy will level up your weapons for you. And all the characters in the lore tie into the Silver Falls games. You meet these characters. This game is really about spending time with these people and just soaking in the atmosphere and the lore. And when you go and play the other games in the series, a ton of people have told me that they just played this one just to see what it was like, and they loved the characters and the story so much that they went and then they got into the other Silver Falls games on the other consoles, and they said they just felt so connected to the characters because they spent time with them in the 90s, and then the other Silver Falls games are set in different years. So you're spending time with these characters at different points in their lives. And it just feels like you're friends with these people, like you know them personally. So yeah, this one's, I don't know, it's funny that I haven't done an official release, but people have been asking me to bring that to a console officially, but I don't want to put that version on consoles, so I'm using this framework. So this is a framework that I use. So I'm remaking Galaxy Bound Curse for the Switch, and then I'll do a free version that you can play for free on Vita and Android. Those will be unofficial, but they'll be the full version, no monetization, and they'll be using this framework. So it'll be the same battle system, but the visuals will be more advanced. So the Galaxy Bound Curse remake, again, I'm remaking that one. And it'll have the 3D graphics, but it'll be more modern looking than this. It won't have that dithered low pixel look to it. So I need to make the kid NPCs here. I'm chatting too much. I should be working. It's a workday for me. Is this compatible with RPG Maker? No, it's different. This is just a full Game Boy game. It's fun to use. It's so easy to use. Try it. Give it a try. I'll put the link in the description there. And don't forget, tile. There you go. Yes, Android version. So when I'm making unofficial versions of my games to play on Android, they'll be the full version, no monetization, but you do need to have hardware controls. It takes a lot of work to program a game with touchscreen controls. It's so complicated for Android, and I don't have time for that because these versions are free. So when I put my games on Android, you do need a controller, but you can get them for like $15-20. You know, they lock on to your Android device, and then they just give you controls like a full controller. So you will need physical controls for that. All right. So what I'm going to do is just start out with this, and I need to make, let's make this guy first. Black hair, brown shirt, black pants. So we need to get rid of the hat. I'm using a modular system that I created. Let me know if the music's too loud. It's still my work day. I should be focusing on work, but I'm chatting too much. What's a good tile set editor creator for RPG Maker? RPG Maker has the that. Oh, you mean like how to make a tile set? Oh, that's a good question. I did see some programs before, and I lost track of them because I didn't need them. Tile set maker. I can't recommend these because I haven't used them. I don't know anything about these. Automatically composites, tile set designing. Oh, that's sick. I'm gonna bookmark that. I'm gonna. Thank you for inviting us and allowing us to destroy your productivity. I should, well, see, I think of you guys as co-workers. Something just personally, something that really irritates me when YouTubers talk to their audiences and then they use the word friend. I think it's very disgusting to me personally. It really grosses me out. They call you friend, and then after that, shortly after they call you friend, they go, oh, and please make sure to sign up to my Patreon if you want to be my friend, and I think that's so gross. It's so disrespectful because you're taking advantage of people. There's this parasocial weirdness going on, and they're taking advantage of this feeling like, oh, you can be my friend, but you got to give me money. And I really dislike that, so I never call people friend. I never use that word. I think of you guys as coworkers. I think that's more respectful. But you guys are also ruining my productivity. It's supposed to be working right now. So once you get... This looks really good. I'm going to download... Whoa, this looks really good. Okay, so... There's a free version. Create a smart tile set instantly from a base tile. Smart tile set. But see, I don't know if you can export this to RPG Maker. RPG Maker has very specific requirements for tile sets. Tile set maker for RPG Maker. And then, of course, there's different resolutions for RPG Maker as well. This is a complicated question. Oh, hey. H.io RPG Maker tile set builder. Okay. This is for XVVX. Okay. This looks good. This looks good. I'm gonna bookmark that. I'm not your buddy pal. Yeah. I'm not your pal guy. I'm not your guy friend. I'm not your friend, buddy. I'm not your buddy. I used to get caught in that loop. So when I was a teenager, my friends and I had to form an amnesty because we kept saying your mom to everything. My friends and I would always say your mom, and that's what she said. And it got to the point where we couldn't have a conversation, and it was very irritating. So at some point in high school, we formed an amnesty, and we said, we cannot do this anymore. We cannot keep making your mom jokes. And so we did have to stop. Arm up. So this is, okay, hold on. These are the short sleeves, right? So this is template components. This is a template system. I think arm 1 is a sleeve. Yeah, there we go. That's the long sleeve. Arm up. Arm up. Sleeve. Which means that I can get rid of the arm thin. So let's hide those arm thins. This is just a small framework that I built to let me make this style of graphics quickly. It allows me to make my NPCs, well, not even just NPCs, just characters in general. It allows me to make them very quickly using template parts. That's a long sleeve there. There we go. Down there. Okay, so this character was supposed to be wearing brown, wasn't it? It's a brown top, black pants. Brown top, black pants. But it was sort of like that. It's the Atari brown, or so I want to get close to the Atari brown. That's close to it. You can also do this. You can select multiple objects. The way this is set up is this is a humanoid skeleton, and it contains objects that I can enable or disable. It's just an easy way to make this style of graphics in Engine very quickly. Otherwise, I have to do it in a different program. It slows things down. This is just a streamlining process. I'm going to catch up to the chat. Friends like when says at the end of a sentence where the intonation goes down and you know it means the opposite. Thanks for that, friend. Yeah. Goosebumps, discomfort, high school. We've done that in our 30s anyway. Oh, you and your friends had to make an amnesty to not do that anymore? It probably came from The Office. Like, I didn't watch The Office as a kid, but probably my friends did, and that's where we got That's What She Said from. And it's insane, because I really like The Office. Now, here's a fun little detail. On the Atari 2600, you can't have different colors. You can't have different colors on... That's something that's a little distracting. On horizontal lines. So this horizontal line, everything needs to be the same color. This horizontal line, everything has to be the same color. Which means you cannot, on the Atari 2600, you cannot have a graphic that looks like that. It's impossible on the Atari 2600. You can only have different colors on vertical lines. Which is why when I created graphics for the original Silver Falls Undertakers, I wanted it to be faithful to the Atari 2600. So you'll see there's moments where the graphics look like this, where the feet are the same color as the pants, and that's the reason why. That's a limitation of the Atari 2600. So that's just a fun little quirk. Also, there's a 3-color limit on sprites. You can only have 3 colors, which is why I didn't have hands. So realistically, if you wanted to make these graphics, if someone didn't care or they were not aware of the limitation of Atari, that's how they would do hands. See? They would put a hand there. You know, that you'd put a hand there like that. That if you didn't know or if you didn't care about the limitation, but that is impossible. You cannot have different colors on a horizontal line. So that's why in the original Silver Falls Undertakers, their hands are transparent, and the background shows through the body. And the background is a different enough color to where it sort of represents this is why there's a hand there. And that's just a fun little quirk. And I love this kind of thing. I love learning about this. I love style matching it. It gave the game its own unique, quirky identity visually. And it's just fun to think about those things. Limitations breed creativity. Absolutely, you're right. It's just fun, and it's so fun to try and make your game work. Like, here's where I made a mistake. This was earlier in development. I made a mistake. I naturally put a hand there. See? And then later I realized, oh yeah, I messed up. You can't have that. So then I had to make a version where I remove the hands, and then you have the transparent color showing through. Okay, let's go ahead and do this guy next. Brown hair, gray shirt, blue pants. You know what was common in the 70s was white shoes, so I'm going to give this kid white shoes. Where's the music? Did I turn the music down too low? Just let me know if it's ever loud or quiet. It's hard for me to tell here. No, I want to go to the NPC. There's a lot of optimizing you can do. There's a lot of things you can change. No, I have white shoes already. I have it over here. Feet 4. I'm trying to be productive, but I'm trying to read the chat. Okay, so we have that character. Who is this? Who is this? Stanton. This is Stanton. Stanton. Actually, I don't even need that one anymore. Okay, you know, we'll just dupe it. We'll dupe it now, actually. Next is Duke. And a fun little detail, there's a number of things that I don't make obvious, but I leave it so that people can figure it out as they play my games later on and they play more in the series. In Three Down Stars, that was my first game. It's on the 3DS. The very first environment you're in is someone's ranch, and the owner of the ranch, his name is Duke. And this kid that you save is actually that guy. This kid grows up and becomes the owner of that ranch. And part of the lore is that he has a bad leg. He always needs a walking stick. And they talk about that a bit in Three Down Stars. The reason why his leg is bad is because it gets broken in this game in the 70s when he's a kid. He gets kidnapped by the Undertakers, he gets shoved underground, and his leg breaks. And you have to help him climb out. He can't climb out of the pit because his leg is broken. And then that injury carries on later into his life where it never really heals properly. Okay. White shirt. I think he's supposed to be wearing... Let's just give him a shirt like this. Like that. Yeah, let's do it like that. Decoration, isn't it? What do I have? I just use these, actually. I have a bunch. I'll use that one. Oop, 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 oop. And then I have blue pants somewhere already. I'll borrow these somewhere. Blue. But that's not the same blue, is it? Yeah, it's that one. I'll use that one. I just want to make sure I'm matching the vibe here. Yeah, that's the vibe. The Winamp took me back. I think I didn't use Winamp for maybe 17 years, and then the other day I thought, it'd be so cool. It'd be so fun to just use Winamp again. I like it. You know what's sick are the visualizations. Hold on, can we turn that on? Starts. Is that it? Let's just vibe for a second. Winamp. Winamp Classic. Good vibes. Happy free day. Atari absolutely pushed that technology to the limit. So did Nintendo with theirs. I was getting sweet, sweet caffeine. I played so... Okay, sorry. I think this one might hurt your eyeballs. I'm starting to get a seizure from this. I don't know what to do about this alien spaceship that we've been inducted into. If anyone's having a seizure, I'm really sorry. I'm a throwback with those visuals. When I first installed Winamp, I think a year or two ago, I spent I had a computer set up off to the side just to have the visualizations playing because it was so cool. Can we get out of here? Let me out. Let me out. That was fun. Okay, we also need Shelly Ann. Okay, she has brown hair, pink shirt, and yellow skirt. So I'm going to go ahead. Hold on. See, here's a situation where I don't really want white shirt and white shoes. It's very plain looking, so I might give him brown shoes here. So we'll just go ahead and I'll borrow these here. What do I get? Okay, like that and that. What happened here? What was that situation? That was weird. Okay, that's fine. All right, Duke. Yep. Okay, so now I'm actually just gonna start with another character. I've already set up a skirt. Uh, so Oxa is one of the kids that you save from a biker gang. And this is just a random girl. She's a random NPC, but she has her own game in the series. The way that Silver Falls works is that there's no such thing as an NPC. Every character that exists in the stories, I've written them with years worth of lore, history, and backstory, and character development. So any character that appears in one game, they might be an item shop owner. They seem like they're nobody, and then the next Silver Falls game, they could be the main character, and suddenly you learn all about them. So in this game, Oxa is just a random NPC that you save, but then later on in the series, she has her own game, and she's the main character in that. So I think it's just a fun, cool way to tell stories. It makes these characters feel like they're alive. There isn't a single character in the Silver Falls games who's a nobody. They all have years worth of lore written. So maybe I'll just do this. Okay, hold on. Select that. And this is Shelly Ann. Okay. So we had pink up top, yellow on the bottom. Pink up top, yellow on the bottom. Pink up top. I think I have a pink shirt. I mean, it doesn't matter where I grab it from, right? Cool. But see, I already have one female kid with long sleeves, so I might take those sleeves off. Okay, yeah. Which one was it? 10? I lost track. This is why I need to take the numbers out and just put actual colors. Pink on top, yellow on the bottom. Mountain Dew. Which of the missions? Once you like Paul McCartney. Oh, is there anyone that believes that Paul McCartney died and was replaced by a clone? I really like those theories. I don't actually believe in the Paul is dead theory, but I think it's very fun. I think it's fun and funny, and I like it. I enjoy hearing YouTube videos about those theories. I don't believe in them at all. Not even close, but they're fun to listen to. I like to hear people just like ramble on about something that doesn't really matter. It's just funny. What kind of yellow? Ooh. That's not right. That's not. I need yellow. Yeah, that's too yellow. We'll just do one. Bottom, and I'll try and match. Okay, let me look at this. Let me eyeball it. I'd call that like it's like a canary yellow. Really, it's similar to a hair, actually. There we go. Nailed it. So I think I'm going with white shoes as well. It feels like a very 70s situation. And her hair is brown, correct? Sprite? This one, yeah. But you see where I made a mistake, right? This was obviously the first time I did the graphics. And I obviously was playing it and noticed, oops, I changed the pixel color. you can't have different pixel colors on a horizontal line, of course. So then I had to do this version. But I think, yeah. I believe aliens aren't interested in us. Honestly, if there are aliens, I think we'd be very boring to them. I personally think that if there are aliens, they the only thing they would be interested in is our media, like anime and manga. I think they would look at us and they would go, Jesus, what are these people doing? And then I think they would see manga and they would go, oh shit, this is cool. We don't have this on our planet. So I personally think that aliens would stick around, but only for our anime and manga. And that is my genuine belief. Freezing Toad, welcome to the Writers World Building Paralysis Club. Man, let's get a beer in Bondi this weekend. Love your work. Hey, Hartman, I really appreciate that. I don't get to Bondi that often. Oh man, it's been years since I've been to Bondi. I often go hiking. A mate of mine will go hiking around in a bunch of different places. I I play pretty often in a number of pubs around the place with music clubs. We'll play music, jam. They're mostly Irish music clubs around the place, and yeah, I like just to hang out with people there, play music, sing some songs. I do that fairly regularly. Okay, yeah, that looks correct. Um, shit. All right, what other ones do I need? Crazy conspiracy theories are fun most of the time. Yeah, white shoes with a star on it. Is that a certain brand like Converse? Hi, greetings from Spain. Hi, how's it going? Good to see you. Uh, everyone in space is hiding from everyone else. No, that's not the Fermi paradox. That's something else. Do you think aliens would prefer subs or dubs? Oh, that's a good question. I think aliens would prefer dubs, but it's going to be the Spanish dub because it sounds cool. So yeah, aliens watch the Spanish dub, and they don't like it. They don't like Japanese or English. Aliens specifically want the Spanish dub. Yu Yu Hakusho. Oh, I finally watched all of Yu Yu Hakusho 4 months ago, and I was so bummed out when I ran out of episodes. I didn't. You know that feeling where it feels like you have infinite episodes to watch, and then you're just breezing through all of them, and you think, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna watch this all day long. I'm having a great time watching this series, this anime." And then you get to the final 4 episodes, and you think, "Uh-oh, this isn't good. I need to have more of this." I had that panic when I was watching Yu Yu Hakusho and I realized it was going to end, and I was so bummed out. I need to make sure I've done this NPC because her colors look stark, and I am not sure that I've made that yet. Let's go ahead and have a look. Let's just run it real quick and make sure these are working properly. It would be hilarious if anime saves us from planetary invasion. Yu Yu Hakusho was legendary. Hey, how's developing going? Hey, Ryu Maverick, how's it going? It's going great. My productivity is suffering right now because I'm chatting to people. Okay, cool. Everything's working all right. So this is my Silver Falls series, and it's very much about alien and UFO activity. You generally don't interact with aliens because if you start just shoving aliens in, it becomes tacky very quickly. But there is alien activity, and you don't always interact with any sort of aliens in these games. But there is a mysterious character in the Silver Falls games and his name is the Mechanic, and he wears a gas mask and a trench coat. You don't know, you never know what he looks like, but over the years, you meet the Mechanic in different places, and over the years, the characters in Silver Falls introduce the Mechanic to our media. So the Mechanic starts learning about anime and manga, but the Mechanic can't tell the difference between real life and anime and manga. He can't tell that one's fiction and one's real. So when these characters are telling the Mechanic about these stories, the Mechanic can't understand the difference, so he thinks that the things that are happening in the anime are things that have happened in real life. And so the Mechanic will build tools for the characters of Silver Falls, and sometimes he bases those tools off of concepts that he's heard of in anime and manga. So now the characters in Silver Falls that are ordinary people, there's no magic or sci-fi guns, are receiving tools that basically give them the equivalent of anime powers because this character named the Mechanic heard about anime powers and he's making tools to help the characters. And I love that idea because it means that I can basically do whatever I want in terms of this world is so grounded, everything feels so just normal and realistic, but I need to be able to give the player interesting abilities. They have to be able to do something cool. And this is how I've justified that, is this sort of feedback loop of life imitating art, imitating life. He doesn't know, so he's not limited to the concept of reality. Absolutely, that's it. The Mechanic can create basically any tool. And because the people in town don't realize that they're influencing the Mechanic, they don't realize that they're telling him these stories that are making him think that real powers exist. And I think that's fun, and it lets me make ridiculous weapons, and the characters just kind of roll with it, and they go, okay, this is what we're using this time. Have you used Lua for game development? I am learning Lua. I haven't shipped any titles with Lua, but I am learning it. Let me just hide my roof rig here. I'm learning Lua because I wanna put games on Plate. I want to make games for that. Let me just check my colors. I'm right. I have not made that lady yet. Wait, no, I have. Check it out. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's her. Getting real Lara Croft vibes here with those polygons. Let me just check. Purple on pink with the bouffant hairstyle. Purple on pink with the bouffant. Okay. Let me just check if there's any other. Obviously, there's more kids. I think I reused graphics for the kids. I think that's what I did. So I'm just going to have to double check and then just make more kid graphics, huh? I think I did. There's Stanton, Duke. Who else do you rescue in this game? I gotta look at my files here. You need mystery and intrigue. Telling us all the secrets ruins the mystery. I'm not even scratching the surface. By telling you that, that's not even close to scratching the surface. And I never tell anyone the answers because I'll get people that'll DM me from time to time and they'll ask a question. They'll say, like, hey man, I have to know this. Is it, what's the answer to this? And I never give an answer because it ruins it. I only just give enough details for people to just enjoy the story and figure things out on their own. To me, storytelling is a two-way street. You have to show possible answers to people, and you have to let people fill in the blanks to a certain degree. Because that's engaging. You're letting people be a part of the story. You're letting people use their life experiences and the things that they're familiar with to fill in the blanks, but you have to lead people to fill in the blanks in a reasonable way. And to me, that's exciting. It makes people feel like they're part of the story. So I always consider that is extremely important to me when it comes to storytelling. Let me just look at my map. Where's my map? Hold on here. Oh, I don't need that. I don't need that. I will look. I'll just zoom out. Okay, we have Stanton goes there. Oxa. Oh, I need warping. I need a program warping. Duke. Okay, Stanton. Duke. Shelly. Okay. There's Oxa. Okay. Is that, I thought it was, I felt like it was more, but apparently it's not. You sort of forget things. Catch a dead kid there. And then there's Willie. Okay. Cool, 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 cool. Oh, I made Dodger. Let me check. Ooh. I'll put them under the lamp so that you can see them better. Dodger. No, I haven't. Move the kids over here so you can see them. Okay. So... I thought Playdate games were written in C. When I was looking it up on the website, it was Lua. I don't know if you can work in C. If you can work in C, I would really prefer using C because I'm already experienced in C. Town's most eligible black bachelorette. As a writer, trust me, he has way more. We all do, and it haunts us all. Would be more funny if the reason no one has faces in this game as the MC can't see faces in people. That's a condition some people have where they have difficulty discerning people's faces, isn't it? That'd be great for a great setup for a psychological horror game. That'd be really neat. Okay, so we'll start with Duke. Dodger. Okay. And with all of these graphics, the sprite work and this stuff, throughout the Silverfall series, every character has a pretty consistent color scheme, and they generally stick to that color scheme unless something really important changes in their life. So whether it's in the modern gameplay visual style where it's like realistic graphics or it's pixel art, the color themes for the characters are generally consistent, so you can kind of identify people just by glancing at them because they have the same colors as part of their personality. Let's see here. Like, I'll see if I can get pictures of Bull here. Or is it I don't want to show any spoilers? There's so many files in here. I don't know. I don't know where the file is. Let me just search for that. Let that look. Okay. Oh, the file is so small. Large icons, please. So the character that we're looking at, the main character, is Bull Brandish. So that's this little sprite here. This is the main character, Bull Brandish. That's how he looked in the original Silver Falls Undertakers. And then, of course, this is how he looks in this game. So he's quite consistent with his pixel art. So there he is with his pixel art. Oh, what happened? Sorry, I'm not sure if it disconnected there for a second. I'm not sure what happened. So I was saying all my characters have consistent color schemes throughout the various games they appear in, so you feel like you're connected to them. You understand what they should look like. So when you see them wearing similar, familiar colors, you feel like you've recognized them. So there's Bull Brandish, the main character of this game. Here's how he looked in his original pixel art. Here's how he looks in this game, which is the remake of Silver Falls Undertakers. And then when he appears later on, he looks like this. Here he is when he's older. He's in his mid to late 50s at this point. So here's how he appears later on in the games. I can see I tried to maintain the similar color scheme. His sort of visual motif is he likes wearing a hat. So, you know, he's wearing a baseball cap as a kid, so he wears one as an adult, but he's rocking this lumberjack beard. And I tried to keep the theme of that sort of brown pants. He's sort of got these leather overalls and this kind of mellow blue that he's got here, which he keeps with his plaid shirt, but he's also got these blue boots to balance out the blue, so there's visual cohesion there with the color. So there he is as a 14-year-old, and here he is as mid to late 50s. And I think I have one here. Where is it? Oh, here's his alt. So in 3 Down Stars, he also has an alt outfit. 3 Down Stars is my 3DS game. So here he is as a default. So when you connect these two games, all of the Silver Falls games can connect, and you can bring playable characters over from one game into another, and they'll be different ages, and you get to spend time with these characters. So you connect Undertakers and 3 Down Stars, and then Bull Brandish becomes playable. And here's his normal outfit, and then I thought, this is a cool alt. You know, he's just like a mega lumberjack at that point. Let's see. And, all right. Okay. Here. So this is Bull in the 70s, in the 80s. So he'd be in his mid-20s at this point. So, yeah, there he is in this game. This is Bull in his mid-20s, and I wanted to try to keep a similar color scheme, but his blue is a little more pale. He's wearing denim at this point, so that in his 20s and his 50s. Do I have a render? I should have a render in Undertaker's Wii U, I think. Let me find this. Here it is. Here he is. There's the more realistic art style. So there he is. It's not to scale, obviously. Yeah, there we go. So here he is as a 14-year-old. Obviously, he's not like a midget. So there's he is as 14, his 20s, and his 50s. And all of the characters in Silver Falls, even if it looks like they're background characters, I've basically done this for all of them. I know how they all look through different stages of their lives, and I've done graphics for these characters through different stages of their lives. So I know that if I write a story and I need to feature these characters, I already know how they're going to look like. I know how they change, how they stay consistent over time. And there we go. And then, of course, you could make visual changes at different stages of their lives to represent different things, like how have they changed as people, you know. Anyway, yeah, that's it. I love that kind of thing. That's really fun to me. Did you make the characters in Engine, or do you model them with some other program? Those I made in a different program. You sort of use a number of different programs and just jam them all together. Ghosta, heading off to bed, Jerrel. You enjoy the rest of your night. All right, Chief, take care. I'll see you. Have a good night. I'm going to clock out soon. It's about 1:06 a.m. here, and I should probably... Nice, I like these streams at this time of day. Jason, hey, good to see you. Awesome. What's the difference between C+ and C++? I'm planning to learn both, but from people teaching, I haven't yet to see much difference. I don't know. I don't think I could provide a reasonable answer for that. I wouldn't be able to answer that. I don't really. I don't think is C plus anything. I've not heard of C plus. I only know of C plus plus. I don't know if C plus is something that's specific to someone, that's their kind of own thing. I've never heard of it. It could be someone's own sort of secret language. Do you mean C sharp and C plus? C sharp basically has enforced typing so that you're not allowed to make mistakes. So say for example in C you can make a mistake, or say for example I invite you to my birthday party, and then you say, oh, please give me the invitation, I need your address so I can go to your birthday party. And I give you a piece of paper, but I'm allowed to give you something other than my address. I'm allowed to give you my fax number instead. So you say, please give me your address. I'll say, yeah, sure, here. I give you a piece of paper, and instead of having my address, it has my fax number. That is what C can do. If you use C sharp, you're not allowed to do that. The language just won't let you do it. The language will say, hold on, you can't just give someone your fax number. You have to give them your address because that's what they've asked for. That's basically the difference. There's a lot more as well. Like C requires header files, and in C, the order in which you put your functions matters. Your objects, your classes have functions in them. In C, it matters what order you put in. You have to put them in a specific order. If you reference something, it has to be higher up in the code. In C sharp, you don't have that problem. Oh my god, C sharp is so good. C sharp is infinitely better than normal C. It's kind of a nightmare working in C, but I can do it. When I make games for Pokemon Mini, you have to use C, and it's not that bad. You just, as long as you know the difference, it's all right. So Dodger, is he in here? C++ is for people who want to get old faster. There is Holy C, though. Is there? Can I give them my credit card? Yeah, absolutely. If you're in C, if someone asks for your address, you can give them your credit card number. And that's the magic of C. C sharp sounds better. C sharp is much, much better. I feel I'm not making a joke. I'm not, you know, oh, I feel blessed, hashtag blessed. I genuinely feel blessed that we have C sharp. If Unreal had native C sharp, I would probably be using it. But C sharp lets me work so fast that I don't want to use anything other than C sharp. I do use other programming languages, and I can. I just prefer C sharp because it lets me work so fast. Okay, I need brown hair. Let's see here. I'll just copy this brown. I'm supposed to be being productive right now. Can I give them my firstborn? In C, you can. But not in C sharp. Not in C sharp, you cannot. Okay, so I want long sleeves on this character, so the character of Dodger appears in the other Silver Falls games. In this game, he's a random NPC, but he is the main character in the Silver Falls novel that I'm writing. It's almost finished. It's pretty close to being finished. And then he appears as playable in other Silver Falls games. But in this one, he's just an NPC. So I need a green shirt, light brown pants. Green shirt, light brown pants. And this, of course, these are his colors, the signature colors. When he's an adult, he likes wearing camo. So I'll just pick a color that seems... something like that. And now, Dodger only appears in a specific spot. Dodger is standing on the road. And the reason why Dodger can't be a main character in this game, and why he can't necessarily, you know, feature as a playable character, is because his signature colors are hard to see. The vast majority of the environments are this green ground, and Dodger would blend right in. Bull is designed to have this light blue shirt because it stands out in the environment very well. Okay, and I need light brown pants, which I know I don't have that shade of pants yet. Trying to match pants that he had from the original. It's not quite right, is it? It's not right. Let's go ahead and look at the sprite. See? Needs to be more saturated. Oh, you know what? That's pretty close. That's pretty close. They look like they're about to start dancing. My brother and me are developing a fighting game. Nice! Awesome. We use Blender and Unreal. I'm drawing the characters and designing. That's awesome. I'm a big fighting game fan. I found a weird one with these retro devices. What was it called? I'll have to make a video about it. But I found this weird fighting game, and it's so cool. What color were his shoes? Dark brown. Yeah, that's fine. I can leave it. Okay, that looks good. See if I can just show you the picture here. Okay. YouTube's asking me to... Why does it want to... Why do you want this? Is that... What's up now? Silverwall smell. Lol, I knew it. Yeah. Morning, my dude. Hey, T. Drake, how's it going? What's up? Thoughts on Haskell? I don't know what Haskell is. Don Keith, I know a bit of C# from Space Engineers, and it's one half of why I stopped playing Space Engineers. What Space Engineers? T. Drake, first time here live. Just wanted to thank you for all your content. Hey, I really appreciate that. Thanks for that, T. Drake. We're getting a lot of harassment on the channel right now, which is normal. You know, you can't, you're not really allowed to complain about that thing if you're making videos on YouTube. That's just part of the whole thing. And I'm just focusing on doing just funny, fun stuff, just so people have something fun. But I know that the people that are coming to the channel for harassment, I know that they don't want to see fun stuff. They don't want to see funny things. So I think they'll get bored if I'm only doing the fun stuff. Space Engineers is entirely contained in its name. You gather resources to build ships and explore space. I dig it. I dig it. I like that kind of concept. Yeah, so this is the character. That's how he looks as a sprite. And this is where he is in the modern timeline, in the modern games where he's playable, and he's in his 50s there. He's younger than Bull. He's a couple of years younger. That I Love Nintendo video was funny. Like, I'm like, there were people in the comments that were really mad about it. And I knew it was going to be people that didn't watch it anyway. I really just want to have a laugh with people. I think that sort of thing is fun. The panel snapped. I was actually really disappointed the little panel thing that goes on the bottom. But, you know, these things are very old, and I honestly should have been more careful. But you have to push the pin in. You have to bend it to pull it out. So it was going to break. You know, I didn't even push it that hard. Could I have been more careful? Yes. And now I'm probably... That moment's going to stick with me forever, and I'm probably going to be overly careful anytime I handle an older piece of hardware like that. I'm just looking at the color green, and I think it's a little... Just want to make sure that green is correct. That green is not correct. It needs to be more yellow. This isn't yellow enough. Let's go ahead and just adjust it. Okay, let's make it just a little lighter and desaturate it. Oh, I'm having a hard time with this. Nothing feels right. You know what? That's it. Nailed it. That feels right. Okay. Man. One of the risks when handling almost ancient plastic, it gets super brittle. Yeah, I'm really lucky that NES works. A neighbor's friend gave that to me, 'cause, you know, you trade, you know, services. Like, anytime anyone in my neighborhood or my group of friends has a computer problem, then I go and fix it. If they have a phone problem, I go and fix it. And then in return, if they're going to throw out any game consoles, instead of throwing it in the garbage, they give it to me. So I received that NES. They said they had only used it a handful of times in the 80s, and then they put it in storage. I didn't have to blow onto a cartridge or anything. That NES works perfectly. So if I put a game in there and then turn it on, it works. It just works. It's so cool. I restore retro consoles. I've had SNES that were so brittle you literally put your fingers through it. No! Ah! That sounds awful. That sounds horrible. I'd be frustrated if that... Oh, man. Do you know how to design games to be moddable? I have no idea. I don't know anything about that. I've never modded a game. Yeah, I don't know. Let me just... what else do I need to do here? I'm kind of like, I'm chatting too much. I'm not even working enough right now. Let me just check. I want to see what this area looks like. Look, let's work on this area a little bit. Let's do the foliage in this. Just populate with foliage detail while I'm working. I'll make a video on how brittle if you want to still have one. Kept it for proof. Okay, I'll watch that. Yep, comment when you make it, and then wherever we're doing the next live, link it. It's so, like, obviously I don't want to see a SNES be brittle and then snap into pieces. You know, I don't want to see it, but I'm curious to see it. You know what sucks? I'm going to go on a tangent here. I really like Digimon, and I really want to get one of the modern devices. Why are they so expensive? I don't understand why they're charging so much, and why does Bandai Namco make it to where you have to be on a special pre-order list, and you need to make sure that you order it within an hour of them putting it live, or else you don't get a Digimon device. That feels really crappy to me, and it puts a bad taste in my mouth, so I already don't like it. Scalpers grab all of the devices, and then they sell them at stupid prices, and it just ruins Digimon for me. It makes it feel gross, and then I don't want the devices anymore. And that bums me out, you know? I kind of think, shouldn't you make your devices accessible? At least make it so anyone can buy it and not get scalped out, you know what I mean? I don't know if anyone here else cares about Digimon, but it's made me not want Digimon, even though I grew up with it, and I do want to try the new Digivices. You know, it's kind of a bummer. Nostalgia tax. Yeah, the new USB charger ones are like 70, right? Yeah, yeah. Why? For starters, why are they so expensive? I'm going to complain. I'm going to sound old here, but when I was a kid, Digimon were $15. Okay, back then that's kind of expensive. That's an expensive toy, but sometimes they went on sale for $10. What? I'm just sound old. I'm just yelling at Cloud Strife now. I'm old man yelling at Cloud Strife. And that's what it is. Or like Digimon. Yeah. Caesar, I hate that I love Digimon. Yeah. I don't hate that I love Digimon. I hate that I refuse to buy the modern devices due to the prices. I would like to play one of the devices because I hear that they're cool, but I'm not going to pay that price. It's ridiculous. Was going to buy a Switch 2 on release, now I'm going to wait. I can't justify... yeah. I'm not getting a Switch on launch as well. I'm just going to wait a while. It's a lot of that, but also I'm not going to use it that much. I barely use the consoles that I have now because of my work. So I'm not happy about the Switch 2 prices. I just don't like it, and I can't justify it because I'm not personally going to use it that much. So I'm not getting a Switch on launch. We have a couple Digivices that use the batteries that look like coins. I'm looking forward to the new game. I got these the other day. I got 2 Tamagotchis. They're really cool looking. Someone on Facebook Marketplace had these for $10, so I grabbed them. And they were so cool. And then I realized I'm too old for these and I can't play them anymore. The reason being is these little bastards were beeping at me all day long. Feed me, play with me. I'm always in the middle of my workday, unless I'm out doing something. And these things, I kept yelling at it, and I kept saying, shut up, I don't have time. I do not have time. And I realized I'm too old, and I don't have enough time left in my lifespan to waste entertaining these little bastards. So I'm actually too old for Tamagotchi now, which is a real bummer, because I thought, in my brain, in my lizard brain, I thought, oh yeah, I'll buy a Tamagotchi, it'll be cool, it'll be nostalgic, I'll feed them and play with them. The reality of the situation was that I don't have time to feed these guys. And then you have to play the little game with them. You can't just feed them candy. They'll die. They'll grow spoiled, and they'll die if you just feed them candy. I tell myself that too. I can't justify the price just to play Mario Kart at launch. Yeah, exactly. If there were way more launch titles, maybe. There's a bunch, but there's nothing that really sort of really grabbed my attention as a launch title that I'm super excited for. I used to watch / play Digimon with my son years ago. That's awesome! That's so cool. I don't have any media that I share with people like that. Well, like, not my dad or anything, but certainly my siblings and my cousins, we played so many video games together. We were very much, you know, my cousins lived next door when PlayStation was modern, when was the new thing. So that tree shouldn't be there. So I played so much PlayStation with my cousins. It was awesome. That was great. We would hop over the fence and hang out at each other's houses. It was really cool. Looking back, I'm an adult now, and I can think back on things and realize how funny they were. And I'm just realizing my mom must have talked to her brother and said, you know what would be so cool is if we lived next door to each other. I'm just realizing how cool and funny that is. That would have been a conversation they had. Always thought Tamagotchi were underrated. They have so much potential. You know what I really want? I would love to find a manufacturer who lets you make custom virtual pets. I would love to program, because I can program these. I've worked on Arduino. I've worked in 1-bit audio and visuals, so I can make these. I just don't know how to get a hold of a manufacturer where you can say, hey, let me program something for a virtual pet. That's like a dream for me. It's not like a dream, it is a dream. I would love to find a manufacturer who could get a virtual pet made for me. I'd love it. Yes, I've been conversing with AI about that very thing, with making a virtual pet. What do you think of the new Tamagotchi game coming to Switch? It's cute. I'm not going to play it. I don't even have time for the virtual pets. Whatever game I play, it needs to be something that I really, really want to play, because my time's so limited. Do you know how I'm genuinely bummed out that I haven't played the new Bleach fighting game? And I'm obsessed with Bleach. There's a portion of my brain that's dedicated to just remembering the names of Zanpakuto, the release commands, the abilities, what the characters do. If you get me started on Bleach, I won't shut up about it. I'm obsessed with Bleach, and I'm so bummed out that I haven't played the new fighting game. I don't have time. I'm so busy with work. I just want to... No, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Okay, let's go ahead and just fill out the surrounding areas here. I'm working so inefficiently because we're chatting. I'm not blaming you guys. I'm not making it seem like I'm working slower because of you. I'm choosing to work worse and have worse productivity. Do you know how the Switch 2 emulates Switch 1 games? Seems confusing to me. I don't know. I don't know anything about that topic. I don't know. I always thought it was like magic, the way that they got... Like, for example, you stick a DS game into a 3DS and it works. I don't know how that happens. I think it's magic. I don't know if there's hardware in it that makes it Like for GBA, right? The GBA hardware was on the board for the DS. Is that how it works? I don't actually know anything about that topic. I'll say random things. Statistically, it's like throwing a move out in Smash Bros. It doesn't matter if you keep missing, it doesn't matter if you're wrong. If you keep saying things, if you keep throwing moves out, statistically they're gonna land eventually. Yeah. Let's get some nice little flowers in here. I've just got to populate this area. Let's test traverse a little second as well. Let's see what this area looks like. Sun's fine. Let's go to something chill here. Blaming Chinese are real streamers. Is that something streamers do? They blame the, like if a streamer messes up in a game, they blame the chat. Is that something they do? I don't watch any streamers. A digital babysitter caretaker will facilitate. Could a virtual pet work like an idle game on Steam? It could. It could. You know, I think there's a lot that you could do with that format, and I would really like to make a virtual pet game. I would really like that. I would probably take it too far is the thing. I'd try to add RPG elements when it really is, it shouldn't be there. It's not necessary. You know, the hardware probably can't handle that. Because you have such little space to work with. I have programmed on Arduino, so I understand the space limitations. But my brain has been melded into a JRPG-shaped mush. The shape of my brain slots into a JRPG, and there's nothing I can do about it because I just love JRPGs. And any game that I work on, I need to, usually in the middle of development, I take a step back and I go, all right, I got to take out some of these JRPG elements because there's too much. I've put too many JRPG elements into this game, and this is not even a JRPG. I just love it. I love stats. I love equipment. I love that sort of tangible progress and development for the character. It's my favorite gameplay style, but I need to learn how to dial it back because I push it too far. Oh, why not just make an app for a phone? People already have those and carry them around with them all the time. It's different because we no longer view our phones as something fun that we engage with just as a game. We are now required to have our phones with us all the time, and there's negativity attached to our phones. There's a sense of requirement and responsibility. It's not the same thing as carrying around a virtual pet. When you have this with you, your brain associates it with fun. When you carry around a Game Boy, it's for fun only. If you have this with you, your Game Boy Advance that looks like it's made out of wood, if you have this with you, your brain knows this is only for fun. There's no responsibility attached. Your work can't contact you. You can't get stuck scrolling through Twitter, doom scrolling. Nothing. Your brain has no attachment to that. Your brain associates this with fun only. And so your relationship to this device is very different. If you have your phone with you, your brain does not think, oh, cool, this is fun, this is great. Your brain thinks, shit, what messages do I need to respond to? Are there any emails that I need to answer that I've been avoiding? What horrible news am I going to find out when I go on Twitter now? What celebrity has just come out as racist? What celebrity dropped the N-word? How long am I going to be stuck scrolling through TikTok? So your brain, you're required to have this. It's not your relationship with these devices are very different, and that's why games on phones don't feel the same. They're not associated with fun the way that they are with handheld consoles. My brain thinks job. See, exactly. Phones are no longer fun for us. They're just required. And then there's also the stress of, what's my battery life right now? I don't know about you guys, but I'm constantly thinking, do I need to plug in right now? Do I need to stop what I'm doing, find a charger, and plug my phone in? Before I leave the house, I think ahead. I got to make sure I plug this in. And when you play a game on your phone, I don't know about you, but I'm already stressed out because I'm thinking, how fast is this game draining my battery? how long can I play this game before I need to plug it into a charger? So it doesn't have that association with it. So that's why phone games, to me, they don't have we don't have the same relationship with them. I still say worst additional function for have is a task list of all things and not accomplishing while having fun. Oh, like you have to go through a list of tasks and then you have to? Agree 5,000%. And it kind of sucks because it didn't always, it wasn't always like that. When phones were still a long time ago, a long, long time ago, we did associate phones with fun. When we first got phones and we were contacting our friends, we associated phones with, I get to talk to my friends. We get to catch up and hang out. I get to play Snake. I get to find cool ringtones. That was a very long time ago, and our relationship has changed since then, and it sucks that they're not cool anymore. Me too. That's what I think of that hecking battery life. It's stressful. So my phone that I use, it's not with me here. It's in the other room. It's it's a rugged phone and it has a massive battery life. So I usually plug that phone in. Well, when it was new, I only plugged the phone in once a week. It had massive battery life. It was rugged. It had an infrared camera. So I purchased that phone because I needed to address my needs. One, I don't want to worry about the battery life of my phone all the time, so I bought a phone with a massive battery. Two, I didn't want to worry about how fragile the phone was, so I got a phone that was rugged and durable. And three, the phone has an infrared camera because I didn't want ghosts to just sneak up on me. And so I can use the infrared camera. It detects temperature fluctuations. You can see what things, cold spots, hot spots. So when I have the thermal camera open on that phone, no ghost can sneak up on me. So those are my three needs, my three requirements that were most important for my phone. It's not a great brand for a phone. Um, and there's some things about it that kind of suck, but it has the three features that are most important to me. The ghost thing is real. I don't remember how it worked, but I was able to use my DS to call my friend's phone. What? Oh man, that's so cool. I have a fax modem cartridge for my Game Boy Color, and that the system was designed to let people have email. I could never get it working, but I did have it, so that's kind of neat. Who are you gonna call though? Well, I guess whoever the last person was on the list, I'll just dial them. Whoever it was in the chat. Do you call people still, or do you just text? I really dislike calling. I don't like receiving calls. Most calls I get are from spam callers, so I already have a negative association. I have a negative relationship with the ringtone, with the phone ringing, because 9 out of 10 times it's a scam caller. It's so frustrating. And nobody I know now likes getting a phone call except for two people. I just text. You're gonna call Ghostbusters. I didn't they just re-released the Ghostbusters game for the Switch, right? I would really like to play that. That would be fun. I only played a little of the Ghostbusters game before on the PC, but I would really like to play through it because it's technically Ghostbusters 3, isn't it? You don't text, you hate texting, so you just call? No way. I don't know anyone that. No, no. I mean, I have some older friends that don't text. I have one of my mates. He'll if you look at our phone conversations, it's mostly like text messages from me, and then every few weeks he'll reply, "Okay." And it's just a string of text messages from me talking. Oh, you know what? This is the dead tree here. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna paint this area. This area will be brown. That's the dead tree. Okay, let's go ahead and test some traversal now. Where am I? Wasn't I supposed to test it? I tested this already, right? No, I didn't. I didn't because my spawn point is somewhere else. Let's get some brown grass just to break up the color as well. Break up the color here. Texting always feels open-ended and or empty, hurry up and wait. I do text, but it's annoying. Huh. That's interesting. I mostly text. But I no, well, I mostly prefer to just spend time with people in person, which is what I mostly do, but I organize that by texting. Where's my spawn point? Let's go ahead and grab that over. I need to implement key items. I have a key item system built in, but I need to just adjust my event system so that events can check whether or not the PlayStation. It's almost 2 in the morning. I think my workday is going to end pretty soon here. I've already lost my train of thought. I don't know what I was trying to say. It's too late at night. I've been working all day. Hold on. Let me check special requirements. Key item. Do you think I've already programmed that? Did past Jerrel program this ahead of time because past Jerrel knew that future Jerrel didn't want to have to do it? I don't like voicemails. Oh man, I do not like voicemails. They used to not bother me, but now I only ever get scam calls. Just spam and scam, spam and scam. And I open my mailbox and I have to sit there and listen to a bunch of scammers in my voicemail box. Here I am complaining. I'm just complaining this whole stream about scams. I'm an old man yelling at Cloud Strife. For me, a text is a necessary buffer. Huh, that's interesting. Well, the only thing with texting is someone's tone can be misunderstood. Yeah, that's right. That's even better. IRL is the best. Yeah, most of my friends I catch up with once a week. I do play at a lot of music sessions. So in the evenings, we get to sit at a pub and hang out. We get to chat and talk and play music together and sing. And that's why I work so late. I start early, I work hard all day long, I work until very late, because that gives me the time budget to go and spend time. Some days I'll just go and spend time with friends. Some days I'll go hiking, I'll go fishing, I'll just go do something. And I make up for the time that I spend just living life and doing recreation, just living life. I make up for that time spent by working very late, very hard, and very fast. So it all evens out, you know. If I didn't work this hard, I would feel really guilty about taking time away to enjoy. Who game devs at 1:40 a.m.? Me. Me, unfortunately. So I don't like how there's spaces here, so now I'm gonna manually I'm gonna put some trees in there. I'm gonna get rid of them gaps that you see in them there trees. So I have family from the South, and I've spent, you know, a lot of time around them growing up. And when I get tired, when I get stressed out, or when it's late at night, sometimes a southern drawl just comes out. I don't have full control over it. Also, sometimes when I'm talking to my dogs, it's like a vicarious southern drawl. I didn't grow up in the South, but I have family from like Alabama and Missouri. I used to work with a guy from Arkansas. Oh man, I accidentally picked up some Arkansas drawl from him. Oh man. He used to so in the office where I worked, sometimes he would bring in food. He lived in the residence that was next to the office. And he would bring in food, and this one time he brought in, he said it was like a dish from Arkansas, and it was waffles that had chocolate syrup, peanut butter, then normal syrup, and then a dusting of powdered sugar on there. Oh man. And as a teenager, I'm not going to say no to that. So I'm eating this thing, and then my body starts shutting down. I've eaten this waffle that has two different kinds of syrup, peanut butter, powdered sugar, and my vision started tunneling, and I'm thinking I have to man the phones. Customers are coming in, I need to deal with customers, and my vision starts tunneling, and I can tell like my organs are reaching critical failure. And it was at that point that I realized that you probably shouldn't have that much sugar on one waffle. You can't you can't eat a waffle that has that much sugar on it. And I learned something that day, and I've been a different man since then. I've made different life decisions since then. Uh, and that's part of life. I never forget that. Whenever I see a waffle, my organs like alert me. Diabetes. Someday we have to meet and play music. That would be cool. Jason plays guitar. Jason's much better at guitar than me. Jason has way more talent and skill at guitar. Jason's been hanging out with me here and enjoying my game since the very beginning, and it's awesome. There's a bunch of people that have been enjoying since my first game, since my first Silver Falls. People that have been just hanging out and having a laugh and supporting my games, and I'm just so grateful, that I get to make stuff that I think is fun. I get to make it for people, and then people get to play it. It's I need to make sure that I never take that for granted, because it's really special, and I think some people take it for granted, but it's something really, really special. Oh my God, you poisoned. I think that's diabetes poisoning. You can, but not recommended. Yeah, you can eat that much, but you shouldn't. Right, you have to use pancakes, of course, says Malamoto. Uh, you live in Southern Hemisphere. I am in Australia. Go, blimey, crikey, mate. Yeah, this area feels too sparse. I'm gonna have to clock out soon. So Jason, is this a better time to hang out for streaming? Normally I do my streaming at a different time, but it's not like I ever did. I'd never had a regular schedule. I'm not a streamer. I only ever did it just to hang out and have fun with people. Some nice little flower patches here. Let's get some. Oh, you know what? We're approaching this sort of dead tree area. Let's get these. Okay, let me just check and see what this area looks like here. I need to get more of these in here, right? See, here's the thing, right? It's good to have variety. It's important to have variety in your terrain, but also, if I use these rocks here, it means that I don't need to place grass. So I'm getting bored of placing grass, is basically what has happened. You guys are seeing what happens late at night when my brain filters turn off, and then my brain sort of says, just do whatever you want, man. And right now, I'm bored of placing grass, so I'm going to use these boulder pieces so I don't have to place grass. And you guys are seeing in real time as my brain shuts down section by section. This is why you shouldn't be developing late at night. Look, if I put one over here, then I won't need to put grass over here if I put one over here. I need to clock out. It's too late at night. To be honest, we don't say crikey to each other. At least most people don't. The Bogans, on the other hand, I've never heard anyone in Australia ever say crikey. Nobody. Ever. Chill wreck suburbs here. I avoid the city like the plague. I just I don't like the city. I don't want to go to the city. The city's not for me. I used to go to the city a lot for work, when I was doing industry work. And that was fun, because I was in my early 20s and it was kind of an exciting experience putting on a suit and going to the city and trying to get adults to take you seriously. And that's fun and it was all exciting. I don't want to go to the city. I don't want to I don't want to have to put on a suit and go to the city. I don't want to do industry work like that. I'm just sort of... That's not annoying. Loses its charm real fast. It's fun when you're in your early 20s. It's fun. Ooh. Once you realize how cutthroat and how mean-spirited, like, working in industry and adults that are in their, 60s, and they're sort of jaded and mean-spirited and angry. And then you work in environments like that, and then you're trying to be an adult, and you've got a suit, and you're gonna be a big man, and you've got a job in the city. It's fun for the first part of it, but yeah, oh, it starts chipping away at your soul pretty quickly. I talked to a few Australian streamers, can't say what they instead of cracking probably event. So I was wondering the origins of the name Sungrand Studios. It's just a name that sounds positive. The sun is something that we associate with life and positivity. The sun gives us growth and safety, and grand is good. It's big. It's good. It's good and big. So I slapped them together. I'm going to have to come back and fix this. Obviously, the player should not be able to traverse through this. I'll just make a mental note, and I'll forget about it by the time I wake up. So, that's cool. People in America only think of the guy from Crocodile Dundee, and they think every Aussie is like that. No! Only every, 5 out of 10 people are like that. Not everybody. Where am I? Where am I? Okay, I'm up here. I gotta put some flowers around here. It's just, I gotta have more visual markers. Let's get some yellow. There's a lot of visual planning here. Just make sure every environment is parsable, and that you're helping the player visually understand where they are and where they're going. Okay. I have to call it. It's getting kind of late. Okay. 5 out of 10 people is 50%. Does anyone else work at Sungrand? It's just me. I'm a solo developer. I do everything. Hey, oh, thank you for that, Andy. Greetings from Bavaria, Germany. I've been enjoying these streams so much. Danke. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Look, I think this is a setup that's easy for us to do, because I'm sitting in a comfortable space where I can work for a long period of time. We can chat and hang out, and I can get work done. I generally feel really bad when I stream because it's hard to get work done and hang out with people. But I think this is a good balance, so I think we can do this more often. We can just talk about whatever we want. I'm so enamored with Germany. I love Germany, and I love zithers. I'm a zither collector and player, and I've ordered a number of zithers from Germany, and it's so fascinating. I've been doing a study into the history of zithers in America during the late Victorian era. That's not a joke. I know that is a word salad, and it sounds like a joke, but I am genuinely doing study into that, and I eventually will be writing a documentary and a paper on the history of zithers in America during the Wild West. It's the Wild West in the Victorian era. And what's so fascinating to me is that German immigrants moved, from Germany to the United States for the gold rush, and Germany became the largest source of immigrants to the United States for the Wild West and the Gold Rush era. And I didn't realize that. I thought it was going to be Ireland. And of course, Germany brought with them their music, their zithers. And so the zither music was associated with Germany. But the problem is that there's very little written history, there's very little recorded history when it comes to zither music in America during the Wild West and the Civil War era. And I was studying and I was trying to find research, and because I restore antique zithers. And it was kind of disturbing because I was finding instruments that there's only one or two specimens of them left in the world. They come from, say, for example, 1980, 1982, 1880, 1882, 1888. I have zithers from that era, but there's no written history behind them. There's no one talking about them, no one saying how they were played, how they were owned. And I did more research and I realized, oh shit, so much history was actively erased. What happened because of World War I and II, America tried to distance itself from Germany, and then immigrants were harassed and hunted down. And people that had German names that were in America changed their last names because they didn't want to be labeled as traitors. The president, whoever his name was at the time, said, unless you get rid of your German passport, unless you disown Germany, then you're just a spy waiting to stab America in the back. And so they really vilified Germans, and because of that, the German people, the German immigrants, destroyed their zithers. They got rid of them because they didn't want to be associated with Germany. They tried to say, oh, no, we're not Germans anymore, we're totally American. So that means all of the zithers that they had from the Gold Rush and the Wild West era, the vast majority of them were destroyed. So there's so many unique models that we'll never see again. There's so much music that we'll never learn about because of World War I. And then after that, II made it even worse. And the only evidence that you can find of zithers being owned in that era and being played are letters home. German immigrants, especially during the Civil War era, they wrote letters home talking about the Civil War, and there's very few photographic evidence, but there is like one image. There's one or two images that actually show German immigrants that are Civil War soldiers, and they show them sitting there with a zither. And I thought, holy shit, this photo is the holy grail. This is basically the only one of these I can find, because all of them were actively erased from history. And so there's a few zithers that I'm trying to restore right now. There's folk music from the era that I'm studying so that I can perform that folk music on zithers that are actually from the 1800s. So that's something I'm working on right now. I know that I've gone on a huge tangent, but it's something I care about. It's something I find very interesting. I just went on the farthest tangent possible. This is why I need to clock out. It's too late, and I'm just gonna go on the most random tangent. It's you can very rarely you'll find a zither from that era because it was sitting in some family's attic, and then it was found and then just sold on auction. So anyway, guys, I have to clock it. Thanks for the tangent. I didn't know all that. I love that. It's so fascinating. Yeah, I'd love to visit Germany one day. I would like to get some zithers from there. I'd love to go to zither shops. Anyway, I have to clock out because I will go on tangents now. It's too late at night, and when it's late at night, my brain filters just turn off. It's funny. Here's what happens. I don't really get tired late at night. My brain enters party mode. So look, I'm done working. Let's just chat a little bit, and then we'll clock out. So when it's late at night, I don't get tired, and this is fortunate for me because it means I can keep working until I hit maximum exhaustion, and then I just go to sleep. So it's useful. But in general, when I get late at night, my brain enters party mode because I spent I spent my 20s hanging out at dive bars. I would get in my car and I'm hanging out in small rural towns, and these are country dives. I'm playing pool and I'm enjoying having drinks with strangers and making friends. Um, and obviously, I would just hang out until the bars were closed out, until the saloons were shut down. So I'm out until the wee hours of the morning. So yeah, I spent the entirety of my 20s doing that. Um, and now that's just programmed into me. So when it's late at night, my brain, if it's late at night, my brain enters party mode, and my brain goes, "Yeah, let's go somewhere. Let's play some pool. Let's hang out with some strangers. Let's have some fun." Um, and that's just what my brain does late at night. Instead of, I think a normal brain would go, "Hey, it's time to sleep. You probably should go to sleep now. You look 20. I wish." It's just the camera looks like that. The camera smoothing things out, and I put on a little weight because I haven't been hiking. I normally hike at least once every 2 weeks. Because I'm trying to get this game finished, I'm not exercising as much. And when I put on weight, your face looks rounder and you look younger. That's just how it is. But in real life, I look much older. But the camera smoothens things out. What type of game is this? This is an action adventure horror game. Before I sign out, I'll just show it to you really quick. I'll show you what it looks like. Yeah, it evokes that feeling of games from the 70s and 80s. It has 3D graphics and kind of advanced lighting, but I wanted to make this feel like this was an Atari game that got remade and it's enhanced. There's a bunch of different weapons. I haven't picked up any, so I don't have any, but what's really special about the battle system is that you hold the L button to stay locked to a position, and then when you fight and attack, your frame data on your weapons, they don't affect your mobility. So you swing a big heavy weapon, and you still have full mobility. And it's a really fluid way of moving. When you get hit by enemies, it doesn't massively affect your mobility. So it just feels satisfying to control and move around and deal with enemies. And yeah, anyway. I'll just go into an indoor building so you guys can see what the graphics look like indoors. Let me find my spawn point. So this game will be coming to Nintendo Switch, but there will be a sister game to this that will be very similar, same gameplay style, and that will come to other consoles, while this one will be exclusive to the Switch. Where's Grandpa's house? Let's go to Grandpa's house. I'll show you what the voice acting is like. I haven't showed anyone this. This is exclusive. Grandpa's house. I'm primarily nocturnal, but RL doesn't always accommodate. Eventually, your exhaustion just hits maximum values. You mean what genre is this game? Yeah, this is action adventure. So is Unity making music right now? I don't know if you guys can hear this. This is what indoor areas look like. I don't know if the voice acting. I don't know if you'll hear it. I think I've turned Unity volume down. How do you... Volume mixer. Okay. I don't want to jump scare you.
My house doesn't have any furniture.
It might be too loud. Let me know if it's too loud.
Why would you ask a weird question like that?
Too loud. Too loud, right? I didn't mean to jump scare you.
The furniture graphic assets haven't been made yet. Don't worry about that. Those graphics won't take long.
You're getting that second wind effect. The best I can guess is that your body is entering survival mode, thus why there's so many bursts of energy. I call it party mode. Headphones declared to be perfect. Awesome. Yeah, so I'm using that old style synthesizer for the voice acting. So I'll be doing that. So the story parts of this will have voice acting, but the smaller things, like say for example, checking drawers and just smaller bits of dialogue from NPC won't have the voice acting, whereas any storyline related stuff will have this kind of creepy voice acting. Does it feel unsettling? obviously this is a horror game. It's meant to make you feel uneasy. So every even the smallest aspect, I'm trying to approach it from how can I just make the player feel a little uneasy.
Should you and your friend outplay?
I dig it. Super on brand for a game like this. Yeah, I'm glad you like it. Thanks for that.
What's that? You were wondering why my house doesn't have any furniture?
But I wrote this. This was just test dialogue before I did the furniture. It's fully furnished now.
Why would you ask a weird question like that? And the furniture graphic assets haven't been made yet.
Ethnicity. My parents are from the Philippines. Like living in a nightmare world. Exactly. There's something upsetting about this voice acting, you know? But of course, it's in keeping with this era. That's where the voice synthesizer for the, you know, that set late 70s, early 80s, you know?
Don't worry about that. Many of those graphics won't annoy.
It's pretty creepy, huh? And you have the music and everything. There are some small aspects to this that are, you know, you wouldn't really notice them because they're not things that are that important or noticeable. But it's things, say for example, like the grass is too big. I purposefully make the grass too big. And the reason being is that I want you to feel like the world is too big for you. You're playing the world as this 14-year-old, and the big monsters that you're dealing with, they're massive. You can't kill them. And so I want that to make you feel small. You can't kill these giant enemies. They can do whatever they want to you, and you feel small. You're just a kid in this huge world. And to tie into that feeling, just things like the grass. The grass is too big. It makes you just subconsciously feel smaller than you should be, if you know what I mean, you know? Roger, totally joining. Yeah. Game looks awesome. Thanks for that. There is a shortcut. Let me show you guys a shortcut. This shortcut is in the original game as well. It's between these trees here. Zoop. It saves you having to go through a longer walk path. I'll just show you what the weapons look like. Just grab them for those checking in. But do you have opinions about the way voice actors want to be paid? Like you have to pay them % later if more people buy your game. I don't have an opinion on that. From my understanding, that's never how it's been. But if the bad thing about that, if they demand too much, then they're incentivizing executives to prefer AI, and they'll just use AI instead. So it's bad if they ask for things like that are unreasonable and add to costs. It's going to have a negative effect. Okay. Oh, see how there's a 4 next to my handgun? So all of those power-ups that I picked up leveled up the handgun, so now the handgun is at 4. These icons are placeholders, obviously. I got my pitchfork. And so you see how I took that character with me. I can go over here. I can take this character with me. Hank. Yeah, please. Saddle up, kid. So these characters, I haven't assigned a default weapon for them, so they're not going to attack. But if I go to the database and give them their default weapon, then they would be able to attack with me. But right now they're just sort of just doing nothing, mucking around. I think most people get it. They have bills like the rest of us, but at some point they're just being greedy. Yeah, I don't really understand. Like, this was an issue with Guy Seehee, who played... it's too late. Silent Hill 2. James Sunderland. He wouldn't let his voice be used for the remake because he wanted residuals, and apparently it's never been that way for voice acting. There's never been residuals. So yeah, the way the combat system works is you hold the L button and you can stay locked to a direction. So that way you can deal with enemies. Like you can see I'm staying locked facing forward and I can keep attacking. I can shoot, you know. So that way I'm not restricted. You see how fast I killed that guy?
That's because my gun's level 4 right now. So that's why you want to go and explore different environments. Is you'll find the level up items for your weapons. AI is here, like it or not. Yeah, absolutely, it's here. We have to figure out a healthy way to incorporate it in our work and in our lives. Will all these Joe Schmoes identifying as professional voice actor and charging for their services as such, all we'll see is AI voices at this point? Yeah, it's going to have a negative effect if voice actors ask for too much. There's a saying that a squeaky wheel gets the grease, but a broken wheel gets replaced. So don't be a broken wheel. I'll shoot him with my gun. Oh, I'm throwing sticks at him. Take that. Stick in your eye. Got him. Do you guys, I don't know about you, whenever I'm playing a game, I don't know, this is something I do when I'm first starting the game, just to see what it looks like when you do this. I do it with every game. I just want to see what it looks like when you do this, because some games, they handle it in an interesting way and in a different way. I was playing Onimusha Dawn of Dreams, and I got stuck for like half an hour just doing this, and I don't know why. I might have problems, I don't know. I just like to see how the game handles doing it. Lighting adds to the creepy vibe. Yeah, I didn't want to have lighting for the entire game because it really changes the vibe. Having the moonlight there and you're running through this open forest, it's a very particular feeling, and that feeling is present in the original game, and I wanted to maintain that, but I also wanted that real-time lighting because it's creepy. I love hiking, I love camping, I love hiking in the dark, alone, in the mountains, and I want to be able to share that feeling, and this kind of has that feeling of being alone in the mountains, even though I'm not alone right now, but, the feeling is close, it's there. I've done that spinning thing before. Yeah, sometimes it's just fun, just to see what the characters do. In Pokemon X and Y, I think, it initiates a trick when you have your rollerblades. I like jumping in succession, seeing if the character will swap which leg they launch off of. That's interesting. Does any game do that? I 100% Dawn of Dreams. I loved using Jubei in her demon mode. Yes! Right here! I love Dawn of Dreams. I was so shocked because I was pretty sure Capcom said, no more, we're not making any more of these. You guys already got too many, you don't deserve any more. You got too many. No more Onimusha games for you. And then all of a sudden, they just dropped Dawn of Dreams out of nowhere, and I think that was it was probably similar to when Castlevania Order of Ecclesia came out as well. I have a feeling they came out similar, and I remember thinking, holy crap, I cannot believe how good Order of Ecclesia is. I feel like we don't deserve this. Like, the world is not good enough for Order of Ecclesia. We don't deserve something this good. That is a gorgeous game, and like 20 people bought it on the DS. We'll keep this chill, and then we'll log out. Order of Ecclesia. Launch date. So when did it originally launch? 2008. Okay, so Order of Ecclesia was originally 2008 for Order of Ecclesia, and then Onimusha Dawn of Dreams launch. 2006, 2 years apart. Huh. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna have to clock out, guys. The gentle light of the candle is strangely comforting. There are numerous extra candles nearby, just in case this one runs out. You don't want to be left alone in complete darkness. You wouldn't ever be the same again. I'm sad there's no more Onimusha. No! Ite, there's a new Onimusha coming out. There's a trailer and everything. You didn't see it? If you're a fan of Onimusha, I think you're in for some good news. What's it called? Wave the Sword. copy. No, there's a new one with more details in that. Is it this one? Oh, yuck. I don't like IGN. Link address. Here we go, fellow Onimusha fan. There's your trailer. There's the link for the trailer. It looks so cool. Oh, man. I really liked in Dawn of Dreams, I like Roberto. He was sort of like a hand-to-hand, kicky, punchy guy. He was red. It's so like... What a weird concept for a character in an Onimusha game, you know? Yeah, this is rad looking. So yeah, look up. All right, guys, it's past 2 o'clock. I said I was gonna leave, but it's just fun hanging out. So, thanks for hanging out with me. It's been a lot of fun. I really appreciate you guys hanging out, just having fun. I got some work. Obviously, my productivity was reduced somewhat. I appreciate you guys. Finally, right? I was so shocked. I was so shocked when I saw the announcement for Onimusha. That's a game where I'm gonna buy it, even if I don't have time to play. I'm gonna buy it when it launches. At least I'll play it, you know, for an hour or two when it launches. It's been awesome. Thanks so much, everyone. It's been really cool. Take care. In my morning, I'm doing a video. I'm talking about PlayStation 1, how much I love PlayStation 1. PlayStation 1's the best console. I have really weird peripherals. They're so cool. So I'll share that with you guys tomorrow. So yeah, I'm going to get some sleep, and then I'll make the video talking about I love PlayStation. PlayStation's the best. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Be well. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. See ya.